There ain't no time for warm-up today, people. Let's just get right into it. Obviously, shit is popping off. I just got demonetized for saying a wordy dirt in the first 30 seconds, but here we are. So, I see all these people in the chat. I'm glad to see every single one of you. Taylor, number one with the emotes, brother. Mohammed, Kyle, Matt, good to see you. Uncle Matt is waiting indeed, as am I. Bricks Dance Builder, yeah. So I want you to drop your reaction in chat, first of all. So I'm sure all of you know why we're here today. Kevin, what's up? Heinrich, glad to see you. Yeah, so obviously big news popping off today. So about an hour ago, Louis dropped Breakdance, a new builder. So we're going to take a look at that, kind of see, and I'm just curious what everybody's reaction is, because I am, I don't know, I'm mixed feelings. I'm not particularly stoked about this, and I guess I got to be mindful of my Facebook chat. Oh, it's behind the image here, so that's good. But yeah, so big news. How do you guys feel? Jaden, what's up, man? Let's see. Kyle dropping. So okay, so anyway, first of all, there's a lot going on here. So I'm very confused as well. And there's a lot of things that I've already written down. So first of all, my question is, which I know they've already answered, but I guess I'm a little bit lost, and probably you guys are too, is why the hell couldn't the team have just maybe forked Oxygen or done something to make it look and function better, as the video would indicate? If you haven't already watched Lewis's video, it's gotten like 1,500 views in an hour, so it's definitely spreading like wildfire. But it's like, there's all these things that I feel like people have been asking for, quality of life improvements, and I know like the idea is that everything on GitHub is supposed to be upvoted, and that would be the deciding factor as far as like what was made and what wasn't, but that just never really felt like the way that things would go. I don't know. I'm just like very conflicted about how I feel about this. And like, yeah, like Dig Dug is saying in chat, hoping it doesn't take away from Oxygen. I just feel like it just has to, though, because like if you see in the Facebook chat, there or the thread somewhere in here, Louis already said that the team is bigger. It's been in development for 3 years, and then it looks like bricks, like like Kyle said, it looks like bricks, and it's faster and already probably works better than Oxygen did, especially the early Oxygen stuff. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, of course it was easier for them to start again, but then you have to come up with some like rationale for splitting it. And so the idea is just to make it simpler and like worse than Oxygen. Yeah, I don't know. That feels like a cop-out, though. Alan says, Louis mentioned that Oxygen is for advanced users and Breakdance will be for novices. But like, surely the idea for Oxygen from the beginning was that it was definitely had the learning curve, but you could do so much more. It had to have been easier for them to start. Mohammed says, I'm happy for a product from Oxygen team as yearly subscription. Yeah, definitely. Taylor says, I've packed my bags at the door ready to jump to Gutenberg. Yeah, so I know Kyle is obviously a huge advocate of blocks. And after WordCamp, I definitely feel like it has some serious merit. I would be really curious, I don't think they've touched on it yet, what Breakdance's compatibility with Gutenberg is like, because if the Oxygen Gutenberg integration was better and you could have that two-way interface between Gutenberg blocks and Oxygen components that, you know, if you build the block in Oxygen and make it work in Gutenberg, if it went back and forth, that would be just a totally different stratosphere for, you know, my client work and probably yours as well. So that's something that I definitely feel like is, gosh, I don't know. There's just so many things. The other thing is, let me go to the website. There's a fucking roadmap, dude. Oh my God, shoot me. It's like the Oxygen team has been so silent ever since the beginning. They never share or, you know, talk about anything. Then features drop and you're just kind of like, well, where did this feature come from? And you're like, okay, well, that's kind of cool, but like, what about all the other stuff? And then like from the outset, there's a breakdance roadmap and feature request. I'm like, oh my God. It's just so funny, the contrast. The other thing that I noticed too is that like, well, before I get onto that, it's just like, I feel like, I feel like I probably could have been more vocal in a lot of the things that Oxygen I felt like was doing poorly. A lot of times I would just compliment it, of course, and there was things that definitely should have been done better. Like, there's no real point in going into that now, but the fact that there's a roadmap and then there's going to be an annual subscription to this as opposed to an LTD, that's really interesting as well. Obviously, if you know Louis and you've seen any of his old stuff, he loves money. He'll say that straight up. So like obviously that's what this is. Key difference is subscription and not LTD. Yeah, for sure. Gavin, I'm a novice and I like learning to customize my sites with code, but I feel like there are too many glitches. Yeah, for sure. Gavin, there's definitely times where you're just like, why the hell is this not working? For sure. Yeah, 100%. Totally agree with you, Gavin. Yeah, you're right, Taylor. Yeah, so Louis really did start to disappear. So in like 2019 was the last time that I really had any like, correspondence with Louis, and then from there it was all Elijah. So now it makes sense. Kevin says UX is worse, give it a spin for sure. I'm definitely going to do that here in a bit. So let's see. Louis takes side project to an entirely new level. I think it's lousy. They should offer LTDs at a huge discount. I think the LTD is probably going to be pretty cheap to start off with, especially for Oxygen users. What did they say? It's going to be like $99 or something? Or did I make that up? I forget. I forget where it was. Maybe $149 is what it said. The other thing that I find really funny is that there's an affiliate program that will eventually be released. There's quite a few of us that would have been able to retire on an Oxygen affiliate program, like myself, Kevin, Street Art, like all the people that were here from the beginning, and even some of the newcomers, like Kraka and some of the, like, there's just so many people that if there was an affiliate program for Oxygen in the early days in particular, holy shit. It's so funny. 149. Wait, let's see. John, I mean, yeah. Kyle, I definitely felt that way initially. I feel like a bit of uncertainty and just like not very stoked on this, because it almost feels like a bit of pulling the rug out from underneath your feet. Rados, what's up, man? And so yeah, that's definitely a little bit unnerving for sure. I don't know how anybody else feels. Like, yeah, there's all kinds of promises they can make, but like Oxygen is an LTD, and if that starts to slow down, I mean, how many people can you have to maintain a product like this? There will be no lifetime license. It's in the FAQ. Okay, so nobody gets an LTD, not even Oxygen people? Like if you're an Oxygen customer, you don't get an LTD? It's in the FAQ. Let's take a look. Plugins, multilingual clients, advanced Oxygen. Well, I'll get a free breakdown. Oh, you get 1 year free. Wow. Okay. Huh. 1 year free. Yeah, like I get it. People bitched about there being no subscription for Oxygen. Like people would like complain about that, and I get it. Probably for stuff like this, because it's just like, for some reason your chat went to spam, Rados. I don't know why that is. So just 1 year free. That's so interesting, because it's like there's no way this doesn't negatively impact the Oxygen development going on. It's like there's just, if the new shiny object is making you a ton of money and you have an annual subscription, of course you're going to divert all of your attention and all of your skilled people to that project. And then, whatever direction Oxygen goes is like going to be dictated by probably just a small minority of people, and they're going to be extremely well-seasoned developers. We all want a subscription model. After we paid for lifetime deal, then we get the most benefit. Yeah, I mean, John, that you're saying what probably most people feel. It's going to be abandonware because of its silly LTD. People have said that from the outset, so it will be really interesting to see. I feel like I want some people to drop in the chat how you feel like the Oxygen long-term is going to go. In a few years, when we look back on this stream and we look back on this chat, and we're all wondering, where is Oxygen now? And where is Breakdance? I almost said Bricks Builder. That's so funny. Not only does the site look like bricks in terms of the yellow, but it also is like so easy to mix up that B, bricks builder and breakdance. That's hilarious. To be honest, many users that are in the Elementor bucket will like something like this. Oxygen might have been overkill for them, but this would be a better fit. Yes, absolutely. And that's 100% what they're going for here, is because the user base of Oxygen is tiny. We all love it. We all have our affiliations with it. We all have an investment in it. But ultimately, Oxygen is nothing compared to Elementor. Yeah, it's crazy. John, the breakdance domain cost him $42,000. Yeah, I did see that. It's kind of wild. Bricks Dance is, I think, the perfect name for it. It's so interesting, this whole thing. So I actually didn't look through all of these things. This FAQ is actually way longer than I thought it was. Are there features for power users? Okay, so I was talking to Kevin earlier in Discord, Digital Ambition Kevin, and I was saying, what is there that Breakdance can do that Oxygen can't do? There's conditions, that was the main thing. Dynamic data is there. It doesn't look like there's a repeater out of the box, but I bet you if people want something like that, they probably will. Div element, just one div, no divception. I don't know what that means. Developer API will be really interesting if there is actually documentation coming soon. PHP, so much of it. Okay. WooCommerce, they said the #1 visual builder for WordPress forever for Oxygen. Do you mean bricks can't do? Taylor, what I meant was what can Breakdance do that Oxygen can't do, or vice versa? Okay. Can I build forms? There's so funny that there is a form builder. People asked for that for so long, and people would you would get flamed to hell in the Oxygen group if you asked, why is there no form builder? So funny. So the menu builder component is interesting. That's something that I feel like should have been in Oxygen a long time ago, because the menus have been terrible for a long time. A Breakdance plugin or theme. It's a plugin again. I did see that Louis said you can use a theme in that video. Child themes, function.php. Breakdance 0 theme. Interesting. Okay. Feel shafted is a fairly recent Oxygen customer, especially when you take into account all the Oxygen-related purchases I made. Don't feel I want to trust this team. That's totally fair, because there's a lot of stuff that you like almost needed, especially like maybe 6 months or a year ago, to make Oxygen an enjoyable experience. You like almost had to have Oxy Extras and Hydrogen Pack, among other things. And then, yeah, no grid builder. Not sure. What multilingual plugin? I'm sure that's really important. Let's see. Translate press, they didn't mention that. We got, how do I translate? Clients, no. UI is designed to be simple even for non-techies. Does Breakdance work with Gutenberg? Yes, you can use Breakdance and the WordPress block editor on the same site. You can embed Breakdance content in Gutenberg using the Breakdance Gutenberg block. So the question is, does it then revert back into the Breakdance block after you've edited something in Gutenberg? Page speed is so-so, says Mine6. I'm curious what you mean by that. What exactly about it is so-so? Is there enough browser support for you to use Flexbox Gap? Yeah, we already know that. Can I write PHP? What happens to my content? It's easy, just click the use default editor link on the edit WP admin screen and your content will be converted to text in simple HTML and placed inside the WordPress default editor. That's kind of interesting. What will happen to Oxygen? We've already kind of touched on that. Will there be a Gutenberg block builder? Oh, okay. There's the answer right there, I think. I got a 35% on mobile for the Breakdance homepage, says Kyle. That's actually kind of funny. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, I think, moved to Oxygen because there was things in other builders that you just couldn't do that would just make it too difficult. I want to go ahead and take a look here in just a little bit at the actual plugin and the interface, so we can do that here in just a few minutes. I'm curious if there's any other comments or discussion on this. Kyle, it worked. I don't know if it showed up on the stream, but it did work. All right, let's see. Let me refresh this real quick. I want to see what the latest comments are, see if there's anything good. I'm disappointed. Breakdance has a lot of high-end developer features that we've been calling for years. Unlimited breakpoints, native forms. It's been thrown into a new product, so Soflyy can migrate to a subscription model. As I understand, Yep. Nice try, Kyle. It's funny because it just blocked your message because you called me stupid. Yeah, I mean, it for sure still does have its place, absolutely. Let's see. This says, I'm upset and concerned for the future of Oxygen once its breakdancing baby brother becomes the breadwinner. There's going to be so many good memes. Hey, man, probably not cool. That's a good point. It's not entirely private, though. I guess that's true. Good call. Let's move on to the actual plugin. So I haven't installed this at all. This is a clean site that had Oxygen 4.0 on it. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what this whole process looks like as we install it from the very beginning. Yeah, good call, Kyle. Good call for sure. Okay, so let's see what we got. I'm curious how this whole process goes, what it looks like, how it behaves. In the video that Louis made, there was already a little bit, there was already a lot of similarities to Oxygen. That's super funny because this is just a development server that, will this even let me activate it? Oh no, okay, hold on. I gotta pull up my own server on Cloudways. This is just a web hosting service that I was using. Okay, applications. I gotta fire this up real quick. I didn't expect this to cause any issues, but apparently it has. Breakdance preview. Not being funny, with the improvements Elementor has made in terms of performance and allowing custom code, Oxygen's latest update being shipped, I might be jumping ship. That's fair. Dancing Baby is coming back from the early 2000s. John, Tab is the admin bar. It's Kyle Van Duzen's group that he runs, and it's got all kinds of awesome agency and website related content. So there's tons of good stuff in there. Kyle does a really good job at keeping quality high. So I would highly recommend you join if you're not already in there. Just waiting for this application to install real quick. I wonder if there's anything else for us to take a look at here. I'm curious how this menu builder component works. And also, the other thing that I was thinking about with this is that super interesting is I, of course, remember when Louis made that like kind of secretive post, and it was talking about like he's working on some secret project and it'll be announced when it's ready. And I remember telling a few people, I was just like, there's no way it's another builder. There's no way. And then I was like, but what is it? Like I had no guesses, absolutely no idea. And then sure enough, here it is, a new builder. Okay. Let's go to this. Alrighty, so let me drag, let's see. Oop, making a mess over here. Let's drag this over here, and then I'm going to take this plugin, add new. Yeah, Kyle, you're right. It was always a builder. Okay, so this server should be totally fine. Yeah, there's definitely a bit of, what's the word? Like uncertainty that this has introduced for the whole, like, every facet of this, from, you know, do I want to even explore this builder? Do I want to continue using Oxygen? What's the future of Oxygen going to look like? Do I continue basing my entire agency off of this? It's not done yet, but I have a full rebuild of Oxygen, kind of focused agency. And it's like, well, do I do that now? I don't know that makes sense. Oxygen is the first and only builder that I was ever using. No idea what to think. Yeah, that's totally fair. Pricing will be $150 a year is what we have been told. Yeah. So this is an interesting setup wizard. It asks you, do you want to keep your theme or disable your theme entirely? So I guess you could use a block theme, such as like generate, what is it called? Generate Press Pro? Generate blocks? Generate Press? Yeah. And still use this if you wanted to. So that's an easy setup. Okay, still no real focus on accessibility. I'd be curious, Kevin, what you found so far. So first of all, oh good, 403. What? What did I do wrong? Is this my stupid Cloudways server? This... Weird. I guess this is an alpha? That's so funny. Of course. Let's see, I turned off varnish cache. No difference. Ezra says, I have the same on local. Wow, okay. Well, that's a bit of a bummer. What else could I disable in Cloudways that would hopefully make this work? Works for me on local. I mean, this is a brand new clean install. So this is 6.0. This is WordPress 6.0. So is it something to do with that? Anybody have 6.0 for sure? PHP should be like 7.4, I believe. Put my license key in? Oh, is that really the problem? I didn't think it said it. It said license key was optional. Let's see. Where is that site? Let's see. It's a brand new install. Download. At least there's a portal button in the header. It's actually easy to find. License key. I didn't think it was license key, Kevin. It's probably not going to let you paste a link in chat, and I'm also almost certainly not going to do that. 403 Forbidden Engine X. Anybody else on Cloudways? This is so... Oh gosh, this is so silly. Let me try to think. What else can I do here? I don't even have any other host other than Cloudways. This isn't exactly how I anticipated this to go. What else? Let me check the PHP version for sure, because I'm pretty sure I put it on this server. Deactivate and reactivate. Packages 7. Yeah, it's PHP 7.4. I don't want to do 8 because I have a bunch of Oxygen 3.9 sites on this server. Kevin, you're the best. Thanks, dude. Oh, gosh. The woes of live streaming. It's funny because this is the kind of thing, as I say a million times a stream, you would never see this. I would just figure it out. So weird. Where did my... Oh, there it is. Okay, well, I guess I can look through some of these other options while I wait a second. Global style... Can I launch it? Oh, no. Okay. Theme. We already looked at that. WooCommerce. User access. Very similar to the Oxygen interface. That's funny. Impersonate a user with edit content access. Oh, that's kind of cool. Maintenance mode. Built right in. There was just a... Oh, thanks. Shout out to Kevin. Doodle-doo. Don't hack me, bro. No, thank you very much, Kevin. He really does. I appreciate that a lot. Shout out to Kevin, Digital Ambition, if you're not subscribed to him on YouTube. First of all, I'd be blown away if you're not subscribed. But second of all, he's saving the stream like Kyle said. Okay, so all kinds of other good stuff on here. I assume this is probably the install that Kevin was already playing with. So let's see what we got. Oh, maybe not. Let's add a template. And that's... What the fuck is this name? Yeah, what is Breakdance? I'm actually very curious about that. So we can add a custom template. New. Main. Location. Everywhere, I assume, would be like your catch-all and Oxygen. That's, I mean, every bit of this is just going to be compared to Oxygen. That's what's so interesting. So you can add conditions to a template. You could sort of do that, right? And Oxygen, kind of? Priority of 20 by default. Okay, let's just add it and let's get in the builder. See, this is what is super interesting because it's like, it's similar to, I'm going to get to editing when I want to. Thanks. It's similar to the Oxygen interface in this way where like this just looks more stylized. All right. Let's see what we got here. So you don't have a left and right sidebar right off the bat. That's interesting. So is this your breakpoints? Okay. Yep. So we have section, column, div. Yeah, they really did, Kyle. That's 100% what they did. So we have heading. This is a heading. What does the default text look like? Okay, so Kevin mentioned that it takes 2 clicks to get to the classes. So where are the classes? Oh, right here. Yeah, I see what he means. So you have to go click it. Oh, look at that. It saves the state of where you were. You don't have to have hydrogen pack for it to save the state of where you clicked on the element. Wow. Oh, boy. Okay, so existing classes. These are Kevin's classes from Automatic. So if we just did a little test, we'll call this test class. Oh, enter doesn't work. I can't just click enter. I have to click add or click create test class. So Breakdance. Size. Interesting. So we have a width control. Okay, so you can get to your breakpoints from other places other than just this control here. It's also interesting that it centers it. For those of you guys that are familiar with Webflow, does Webflow center the interface like this when you're looking at other breakpoints? Yeah, I'll try tab real quick. Oh, if I tab out of it? Oh, no, there we go. Okay, so yeah, you can actually tab around. That's actually another good thing. It's one thing I've always hated about Oxygen, I've asked for this multiple times, is if I can use keyboard nav when I'm searching for an element. So like if I type in text, you can, oh my God. Oh, that's unbelievable, dude. Oh, it's such a simple thing, but like if I'm like keyboard nabbing all the time and it's so frustrating when I get into Oxygen and I'm like text and I want text link and I can't just go down to it on my keyboard. Oh. Oh man. The interface does seem pretty strong, that's for sure. So you have heading tags. Do you have, like on a div, do you have all the same semantic tags? It's kind of interesting that, I guess you don't. There's not semantic tags in here. It is Webflow competitor and they're working on WP integration. Isn't it possible to edit classes within the editor right now? Do you just add them but have to style them somewhere else? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so button. Wait, so what is this? Primary and secondary style. Is this part of our global settings? Okay. So you have, you have a primary and a secondary style for your buttons, or you can give it a custom style or a text style. Interesting. Okay. Lightbox. What does that do? I'm not quite sure what the point of Lightbox is yet. It's not the play for hardcore users. Like, the thing is, though, I'm sort of a hardcore user, but not in the way that I think a lot of Oxygen people are. There's a lot of people that are far more adept at development than I am. And yeah, I'm still not 100% sure. Okay, so, I highly doubt that they have investors. Right now, maybe in the future. What is this? Okay, so that's the edit sidebar. Let me... What else do we have? So a lot of blocks. Tons of things. Stats grid. Oh yeah, this feels like so many other builders. That's crazy. The way that they do this, like, oh gosh, there was one that I used a long time ago on a page builder. I think it was called Tatsu. Looks just like this, where you change your icon, your number, and your text. Everything's much more rigid. So could you build a grid like this still? Can you add a div inside of a div? Where's my structure panel? You can, but it's like impossible to know where I'm at with that. So can I then just duplicate this? And then do I still have layout controls like flex, horizontal? What? Oh, okay, align center. That's odd. And then how do you set a width? Container, width, pixels. Oh, just like Oxygen, the like parent container doesn't have its own default width set. So then what about grid? Is there no grid? Wrapper, hover, attributes, conditions. What kind of conditions do we have? I guess not. I'll come back to the conditions in a second. So we have a flex layout here that's actually so interesting because there was a thread that Louis made, if you guys remember, in the Facebook group talking about why would you ever use grid? And he basically was just having people show him layouts of different sites that was like, you know, did you use flex here? Did you use grid? And pretty much anybody that used grid, he was like, you could achieve the same thing in flex. Why would you do that? So it's so interesting that this is missing. And it's funny how all these things in hindsight are like, it's so obvious that that's what he was building this whole time. It's like, he wouldn't just make that because he was curious. There's no way. Nope, grid does not exist, says a couple of people. Rados, good question. How does drag and drop work? Probably amazingly. Yeah, I can get a text element inside of a div. Pretty damn easy. Oh my god, that's hilarious. If I want to get it inside of that div, I sure can. Shai de Gaulle says, I really don't think so. Bricks will be winning the race. Grid is definitely pretty handy, and a lot of the kind of like I lost my train of thought. Grid has its place, is what I'm trying to say. Stratos, my opinion in summary is uncertainty. I think that's really what it comes down to. I really don't quite know. John, yeah, I know. All this time. Let's see what happens if we try to take an element like a stats grid and toss it inside of a div. Oh, wow, would you look at that? It just works. That is super interesting. I actually didn't fully look at some of these other elements, though. I wanted to see some of this stuff. So business hours. Yeah, look at that. I mean, That's just like such a component that Oxygen would never add. But it's just like, I mean, if you need this sort of thing, you could totally do this in Oxygen. It's certainly not easy like this is, but it's certainly doable. They spent 42,000 on the domain name. Yeah. Yeah, the pre-sale, Kyle, is here in YouTube chat. So if you want to drop a super chat, that's the pre-sale. And shout out to all the members. We got quite a few. We had Heinrich, Kyle, Taylor. Who else we got in here? Members. Okay, progress bar, basic slider. Wonder what a basic slider is. Okay, so... A slider with a button and some text. I'm kind of struggling with some of this stuff because it's like a lot of this stuff is like hidden almost, it feels like. Like this button, I didn't even realize it had actually opened up because I clicked it, but it didn't look like anything changed. Like the contrast is a little bit tough to understand what's actually taking place. Oh, wow, and you can make them even bigger. You can get even more. So this is the link interface. So it just pops up the WordPress one. So that looks wonky, but obviously it's an alpha, and I'm using Windows too. So I think that often throws off a lot of these layouts. Yeah, it's so interesting. But actually, I wanted to take a look at the conditions interface here. So let's see. I'm afraid for the features of Oxygen in the long run, Angular. Yep, totally, Stratos. I think that's very much the consensus of everybody for now. Oops, didn't mean to close that. I clicked out somewhere else. Okay, so we have a lot of the same things, but the conditions interface is searchable. Wow, look at that. So post title. Oh gosh. All right, bye Kyle. Thanks for joining. So where does this text actually go? I thought I clicked the post title. We're actually just on a template, so maybe that's why it's not working. I was curious why the title wasn't actually input in here. John, that would be crazy if they would just be that straightforward, but Oxygen has never been, forthcoming. For the sake of the dynamic data, how do I go back? How do I get out of here? WordPress. I want to go to pages. I'm going to go to home. What is this? Instant indexing? Oh, rank math. Stratos, not as far as I'm aware. Edit and Breakdance. Let's see how fast this is. Of course, this is just a standard site. I mean, it's reasonably fast. Oh, shit. I accidentally messed this up. Because I had a template, and at least it brought me back to the template. That's a nice little usability thing that wasn't there. I believe it's Vue. Yeah, Vue.js. But I actually wanted to go to WordPress and then templates. I'm just going to delete this template because it doesn't really matter. And then I wanted to go edit my homepage. Edit with brick. Oh my God, I just said edit with bricks. Edit with Breakdance. That's amazing. Just when you buy Oxygen lifetime license, you can probably still refund it if you're that concerned about it. But the thing is, if you buy the Oxygen license, you get a year of this builder. So section, heading, where's the dynamic data button? Oh, weird. So when I have the text selected, like you would in Oxygen to get the dynamic data in the thing up top, then oh no. It is there. It just is not there all the time. You have to hover over this thing for it to appear. That's weird. So then post. Ooh. Wait. So if I click this, I tab. It goes to search. Post title. Wow. Can I keyboard nav down? No. Okay. Post title. Home. Perfect. Yeah, this is so interesting. Post title options. Fallback default text. We don't have that in Oxygen, do we? Am I completely overthinking this? We don't have a fallback like default text option, do we? Because you'd have to have two different text elements that one has a condition, right? And one doesn't. Is that true? John, there is no LTD for Breakdance Builder. Nope. Prepend text. It's almost identical to how Elementor does it. Interesting. Huh. That's a good question, Andre. Let's see. So post title, and then let's go with just like date. It doesn't look like you can. Yeah. That's the upsell. If you want 2 bits of dynamic data in one element, then you have to get oxygen. Yeah, you I guess can't, because I'm not gonna delete this. I'm gonna hover that and just go with title. Click that, yeah, and then it just changes. Global settings, classes and selectors. And ooh, there's a weird search like glitch here. So you have your classes. You must save and continue. I don't know what I just clicked because I couldn't actually see it. I guess I'm affecting my global styles now. But yeah, you're right, Kevin. I don't see. Oh, there it is. Code add style sheet. Wonder how that works. Add JavaScript. So you can just add as many instances of style sheets in JavaScript as you want. But this thing, oh, there we go. There's a, Can you open multiple tabs in sessions? That is a great question. Can you rename classes? I have no idea. How do I get out of this thing? I guess I was in the global styles indicator. Okay. Okay, gosh, I'm struggling with this. This is just new. Don't really know what I'm doing here. Bunch of good questions, though. Can we rename classes? So why is this way? Can I just like delete this out of inspect so I can actually see what's going on here? Wow, there's a lot of divs here. There we go. Okay. Are you joking, dude? You can see where the class is used. Am I wrong here? Is that actually what's happening? Where's classes? I'm just gonna spam add some classes. Teague. So let's duplicate this. So we have that instance of the class a couple of times. Editing select. Oh shit! It went back to the thing here. Let's see if I can get to it. Teague. Edit. Click. 3 on page. Oh, dude, look at that. Oh god. That is insane. Wow. Man, this is crazy. That's a little thing, but like, damn. The fact that you can do that is something that people have asked for so long. What is the layer? An image. How does that work? I don't think I have. Oh, this actually isn't my site. I forgot. Let me see if I have an image I can upload real quick. Taylor, yeah, I hope that was Sridhar. So what does this do? Is this like a background? So you can just stack layers on top of each other like gradients and stuff? Okay. Yeah. I would look at the docs if there were any. That's so interesting. I don't see a way to rename this, though. That may come later, though. There's just one state, so there's just a hover state. So what about pseudo states? Have you been able to find that, anybody? I don't see that so far. Probably not, since that's supposed to be kind of an advanced feature. What concerns me is we're going to have features we like in Oxygen, which aren't in Breakdance, and vice versa, so choosing which to use on a site is harder. Yeah, that's a perfectly valid reason. I mean, if this starts making more money, then yeah, like it just makes sense for them to do that. What else do we have? Some of these other blocks we didn't look at. Countdown timer, Lottie animations. Scrolling, okay. So you have scrolling, entrance, and sticky. They have custom breakpoints. Oh, I may have overlooked that. Column gap, sections. Okay, default padding for sections. Forms. Well, it'll blow your mind even more to know that Oxygen used to be $99. Oxygen was $99 for a long ass time too. What else we got? Logo list, dual heading. Oh, it's got some like crazy hover, like secondary effect. Annotate. Wow, look at all this stuff built right in. I would use this if it was an Oxygen. Can I check the form builder element? Yes, absolutely. I was just kind of looking through some of these before we got too far. Google Map, I wonder if there's more configuration here. No, okay. So what does use without API key do? Okay. I wonder if there's a Mimi default video. Sample videos. That's a little bit better, but I was like, am I about to get demonetized on this? Okay. You can download the builder for free. Let's see. Okay, form builder. Let's actually try to build like a real form. Let's see how this works. Contact form. Text, email, text area, URL, phone number, radio, checkbox. So all the standard fields that you would expect. You can control the number of rows, I guess. Value and placeholder. Okay. Let's add a field. Oh, okay, so that just does exactly what you can do already with the existing fields. Select field, add option. This is where I'd like to see a modal, because if I have a bunch of options, then that would be nice. Option label. Okay, so that's perfectly fine. I mean, it just seems like a standard form builder. It feels like, I don't know, something like contact form 7, and then it just works out of the box. Hide form on success, redirect. Is this dynamic? No. Actions. After form submission, active campaign, JavaScript. Okay, so I guess you could do a redirect. ConvertKit, drop, Discord, Slack, email, store submission, webhook. Okay, so there's a decent bit of stuff here. Does the form save to the database? I don't know. This isn't my server, so I actually couldn't tell you. I guess I could technically submit it and then ask Kevin. We can do that here in a second. So the email, so you click the email. And then, okay, so, I mean, there's this interface. This sidebar situation is just so hard for me to, like, see, because, like, my vision is so compressed down into this one little corner. I don't know. I guess that's how it would have been in Oxygen, too, probably. Because it probably... Oh, you can move it! What? All these dialogues you can move? Oh... I didn't know that. I see, I see. Let me move the whole thing. I want to move this whole thing. Okay. Try to move it off screen. Good question. Oh, no, it's stuck to the bounds of my browser here. Yeah, Kevin, not worried about that so much as does the email save somewhere like to the database so that you could view the submissions. Like contact form 7, you know, if it like doesn't submit, you're just like screwed because there's no record of it. I wonder real quick if I go back to WordPress. Ezra, Louis said that he started working on this 3 years ago. Oh, form submissions. There it is, Taylor. So yeah, 100% it does. So real quick, if I save this. Yeah, I guess you're right, John. Source submissions would have to. Okay, so front end. Oh, so will it not even let me submit it? Oh, maybe I put some crazy condition on it, on this email, because I was messing with the field a little bit. Did I do something weird here? No, I guess not. Oh, okay, so it does actually save. Take the entire, drag it to the trash can. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Wow. I mean, this seems perfectly viable, I guess. Recaptcha, honeypot. Curious how these are going to get spammed to hell. Probably will, unless there's like some crazy JavaScript going on behind the scenes. Okay, so layout. I actually wanted to look at these. Vertical at tablet landscape. Between fields. Okay, so that's nice. If you're not someone who is adept at CSS, which totally makes sense for somebody that would be buying this that's never heard of Oxygen, then all of this stuff is going to be extremely handy. Change the background colors. There's a little like transition effect, so it's not instant. It's kind of nice. How much useless DOM generated? I have no idea. There's a lot of controls here. Holy shit, look at all these pop-ups adding up. So if I close that one, does it close? Yeah, it closes its children too. Nudge X and nudge Y. Oh man, that is crazy. I highly doubt that this, yeah, widgetception. I highly doubt that this builder has much in the way of bloat. I need to take me a little drink. I'm gonna mute myself. Okay, add an image and check the DOM. Louis just sent out an email to all Oxygen users. Yeah, I'm sure. They want to spread the word on this, and it's spreading like wildfire, obviously. How many views did that video have so far? I'm curious. When I first clicked it, it had 93. Then I refreshed and it had 1,500, and now it has 2,250. Man. I'm really interested to dig into people's responses later. What did I do? Why is this not working? I'm curious if how would your reception be? I think it's probably a little bit like what's the word? Corrupted. Our perceptions are all a little bit like messed up by this. But if they had come out and said we're gonna fork Oxygen, we're gonna rewrite it, and then we're gonna do all the stuff that everybody's been asking about, and then it would be the world's greatest builder. All the stuff we've all wanted is fixed. It still does all the things that it does now, and was amazing. It was rewritten in Vue. It's super fast. How would you respond? But there's no backwards compatibility, So like essentially you have a fork. So let's say like Oxygen, 4.1 is no longer compatible with anything prior to it. How would you feel about that? I got distracted on the image thing here. I guess this doesn't load right now for some reason. Would have paid more, would have liked that. I mean, I probably would have bought it again, to be honest. I wonder if I need to save this and refresh. You had been sad? Yeah, for sure. I would have paid double annually. There you go. Yeah, but the thing was, John, back then, when they went from 1 point whatever it was, 1.43 to 2, there was like, I would guess probably like 20% or fewer of the user base. But also the thing was that the jump in like performance and ability was so much greater that I rebuilt sites that the clients didn't even pay for because I wanted it in 2.0 so badly. Why is this not loading? That's super odd. Let me try a different image element. Image box, maybe. Oh, look, an image card. Kevin's video from yesterday. I would be curious how it compares. Why is this not loading? Something to do with like weird timeout? There's a whole crazy bit of stuff going on here with the Ajax whenever I was trying to load into that, right? Yeah, this is so interesting. Real quick, for everybody that's here, if you can, drop a like on the stream for me. That would be extremely helpful. Those likes really do make a difference. Please go ahead and do that while you're still here. Oxygen rewrite in Vue with better UX accessibility would have easily been a way to swap to an annual pricing model. People would have gladly done it 100%. I would have done it in a heartbeat. I would have advocated for people to do it too. Thanks, everybody. I see them likes coming in. Really, really appreciate that. I don't know what I'm doing here. Maybe if I hard reload, why this image won't work. I really wanted to see what Andre was talking about where adding an image in the DOM didn't look that clean. Look at that. 100% of the Oxygen user base would have done that. Oh, yeah. It is an alpha after all. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Well, I'm going to take Andre's word for it that the output is not that clean. What else is there? What other cool stuff should we check out? Oxygen V5, yeah, basically. So much work just went into switching it to JSON and then like a slightly better UI, and it's just like, I don't know why it would be. Yeah, it just feels so weird. I still have not over that like this just feels so odd. Oh, look at all this share shit. Facebook like button. Share button. I probably can't see this until I have a API key from Facebook. That's so interesting. Twitter button, Twitter share, Facebook share. Surely you can do the share without an API key because you definitely don't need that. Yeah, I guess we should take a look at WooCommerce here in a second. That's something I haven't done. Site, WP menu. Oh, menu builder. I forgot about that. Let's take a look at this. It's also super interesting the way that these elements that are essentially contentless, they just like kind of get lost. Like this Facebook like button, it doesn't have a placeholder, so it just sort of disappears, even though like it's there, you just can't see it. All right, so the menu builder, show another section. The builder lag was probably the most frustrating thing I've ever experienced in Oxygen, for sure. Okay, so how does this work? We have a menu builder. We have elements. I'm going to delete this stuff because I kind of want to build something on my own. So what do? We click a menu link and it adds a menu link. Okay. And then if I go back to my menu builder, we're going to go to custom dropdown. And then inside of that, there's a heading and an image. So can we put anything we want inside of it? Where did it go? No. Yeah, I imagine, Gavin, by tomorrow, since so much of Europe is like late night right now, that there's probably going to be like 500 comments or 1,000 over the next few days and weeks. I thought I saw a way to like hold the, oh, you just click it. Oh, okay. I made a mistake there. Let's see. If I wanted to add, is there a columns element? Yeah, there is. Okay. Choose a column structure. This is just like bricks. 3 wide column. Let's get rid of this image. And then this heading, say, choose one. And then text. Yeah, I'm not sure where Elijah is right now. I actually didn't share with him the link. I'm going to do that real quick. Okay. In the garden with a beer? Hell yeah. Appreciate you watching. So this menu builder element is kind of interesting. So how can I control how wide this is? Because like, what if you wanted this particular dropdown to be wider? Do you just... Oh, you just literally change the width. I see. 75%. Doesn't do anything? Why would that not do anything? Is it because my menu builder is not wider than that? Where's my width? Spacing. Nope. Links. Drop downs. I don't know what I'm looking for. Okay, I'm going to scratch that. Not really too worried about that right now. Apparently the width value doesn't quite work, so I'm just going to make this wider. Oh, no, never mind. I thought I saw something, but I actually didn't. So this is so interesting because, I mean, you can just add anything you want. Could you add a WordPress menu in here? WP menu. I don't know if there is one. That's very interesting. What does that say? Hide this notice at preferences. Disable notices for empty SSR elements. Oh, okay. How could you build a website today in Oxygen and know that you may have to rebuild it in 2 years? Yeah, I'm not sure. Good question. I wonder if I can add an image element now. I'm not sure why that's not working. Just had problems for sure. So there's a bunch of new people in chat, and I am curious, what's the general consensus here? Drop in chat how you're feeling about this whole thing. I'm really curious. So this menu element, what else can we do here? Menu drop down. Is this just a regular drop down? Oh, I mean, it's a pretty capable one. You have some columns. So you add another column, show another section, test, link. Interesting. Okay. insane, not good, bad, damn. Thumbs down, not good, cheated on. Yeah, humble, hello Bricks. I don't like it. Interesting. Reinventing the wheel. How do you switch to the dark mode? It just is dark mode, I think. Oxy to Breakdance, I doubt that. Different product for a different audience. Just worried they will burn oxygen. Disappointed. Yeah. I mean, that's amazing. That's the general consensus all the way around. Super interesting. Oxygen has failed in the model for me. They could go a different route. Switch to dark mode at preferences. Oh, wow. Breakdance is here in the chat. Here we go. It's popping off. There's a whole situation going on here. Dark mode. Ah, okay. So there is dark mode built right in. Sure enough. I didn't even notice there was this whole selectors panel. What do I think, honestly? I think the main things is, I think I would summarize it in one word as uncertain. Just uncertain overall. This is about to get crazy. Think Webflow for WordPress. Oh, wow. Okay, there's so much chat stuff going on here. It's meant to take market share from mainstream builders like Elementor or Divi. If you don't like Elementor, you probably won't like Breakdance. But Louis, so the thing is, this is so similar in so many ways. Like pretty much the only thing that this builder has, or excuse me, does not have that Oxygen has is a repeater and grid. Like what else is missing? This is just like so many of the things that we've been asking for so long, or maybe people bitched about but didn't actually ask for, have been done. Like, yeah, the general consensus is just people are not happy. Selector detector, I don't think most people use. Yeah, but like, Bricks doesn't do inheritable templates. Containers? What would be the difference there? You have divs and sections and columns. I have no idea. I'm not sure about the Bricks user base. I'm sure it's smaller than Oxygen's. Sure. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Louis, just let me know if you have Discord or Skype or however you want to chat. Yeah, this is amazing. Sure. Yep, Zoom will work. 1 second. I'll message you link on Facebook real quick. All right, guys, this is going to take me a minute to get everything set up. So just be patient with me. It's going to be a little bit tough No, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to change. You need a hat. So do I, dude. I'm not going to be able to change the streaming destinations right now. I think what I'll be able to do is add a video capture here thing, though. I bet there are already 20 plus domain names, but yeah, for sure. All right, so yeah, Luke, let's go. Yeah, shit is, as they say, popping off. Somebody wants to share this in the Facebook group. Live interview about to happen with Louis. Oh, actually, I can't message you on Facebook, Louis. Here, I'll give it. Oh, okay, awesome. Rip my email. I messaged the link to Elijah, so he should be able to share it. Hey, dude.
Hey,
Let me. Good, man. Let me put up desktop audio and then let me add you into the video stream real quick.
hey, dude. Sweet. Okay, I'm gonna get to see my face on YouTube.
Oh shit! I hear double. Sorry, 1 second. 1 sec. I think I have to put on headphones. Sorry. All right. First of all, I know everybody can't see you yet, but your hair looks incredible, so I don't think you need a hat. Oh, I hear the echo off of you. That's what it's coming from. Yeah, I know you guys can't hear my desktop audio yet. I'm trying to get it sorted on Lewis's side real quick, so the echo quits. Let's see. Yeah, he's not speaking yet, guys. Don't worry. Let's see. Let me go with. Yes, perfect. Okay, 1 second. Awesome. Okay, I just need to figure out how do I get you on this here screen. There we go. Okay, so now you're gonna see Louis. So there we go. I'm gonna make you nice and big. I'm gonna put you front and center here, dude.
All right.
All right, we should be good to go. Before you get too deep into something, everybody can see you. Can you say something?
Yeah, there seems to be a big delay with me on YouTube versus on Zoom.
Yeah. So you
should
and I are
probably just close the YouTube video and look at the chat.
yeah, just chat because
And
there's going to be like a 15-second delay about what we're speaking about versus what everybody hears.
okay, let me open Zoom so I can actually see you, and then I won't watch the video. This is what I'll do. I'll cover the video with the Zoom, and then I can see the chat. Okay,
Perfect.
cool. I'm happy to answer basically every single question. But first, I have a question for you guys. Do I need a haircut?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
No, I totally
Sure.
agree.
I was hoping not to show my face in public until I get a haircut this afternoon. I figured I'd have to do one of these videos. But considering we're getting absolutely reamed in the comments, I wanted to just come on and do it immediately.
Yeah, totally. So that's one thing I appreciate about you is always jumping out in front of the bus, so to speak. And it's been a long time. So I said earlier, I think before you joined, that the last time I kind of spoke to you was like 2019, and so it makes sense that you've been working on this project for about 3 years now, as that's kind of the timeline of when you sort of fell off.
Basically, I handed it off to Elijah right when we shipped 3.0, and it's been in capable hands since then. So he's just going to continue running and managing Oxygen, really as we always have. It seems like there are a few main concerns people have. It seems like one of them is, why is this not an update to Oxygen? And two, what is going to happen to Oxygen? So firstly, nothing's going to happen to Oxygen. We're not going to change anything about the pace of updates, the support, all the lifetime licenses are going to continue to get honored. I don't know if people actually believe me when I say that, though. I guess really the only way we can prove it is with time. However, I think Oxygen is going to continue to sell well. Yeah, Kyle says I need a PR consultant. Look, we don't do PR. I'm just going to give the honest answers. And if people don't like it, they don't like it. But I think some of the people are going to like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me hide these questions so I don't get sidetracked by those. I'll answer
So
all
easy.
the questions.
You gotta be really careful about that. And some people are gonna completely derail you and be dicks. So just yeah.
Okay. I'm not. This is my first time doing a live stream. I'll answer all the questions in a little bit.
Yeah.
Jonathan, what questions do you have for me?
Yeah. So I think one of the main things that I kind of think I already know how you'll answer is primarily around the fact that, of course, I bought Oxygen back in like 1.2 or something. So I distinctly remember the transition that took place from 1.43, I think it was, into 2.0. And when we kind of had the backwards compatibility issue, but at that time it was such a drastic change, introducing the Flexbox engine and updated UI and that sort of thing, that it didn't matter. I was like, I'm willing to make that migration. So I guess my main question is around like why the decision was made to have an entirely new builder instead of something like a fork and a total rewrite of Oxygen. Because I asked that earlier in chat, and I don't know if you were here, but the consensus was they said they would have gladly switched to an annual payment and migrated to Oxygen, let's say 5.0, even with the understanding that there was a lack of backwards compatibility. So maybe if you can touch on why that decision was made.
Yeah, a couple of reasons. I don't really believe people are okay with breaking backwards compatibility. When we broke backwards compatibility for 1.43 to 2.0 and had very few users, we got absolutely reamed. I mean, now we have over 30,000 customers. It's probably installed on over 100,000 websites live. We can't break backwards compatibility, and and we can't take away features, right? There are a number of features in Oxygen that are not present in Breakdance and possibly will never be present in Breakdance. For example, Oxygen has repeaters. Breakdance does not have repeaters. Breakdance may never have repeaters. A lot of people are going to say, well, I'm not going to use Breakdance. Well, great. Oxygen's for you. For all the people who want a builder with repeater functionality, you can use Oxygen. Another builder that doesn't have repeaters is Elementor. It sells very well. Divi doesn't have repeaters. It sells very well. The Elementor developers are not stupid. They know what they're doing. There's a reason they haven't built repeaters. It's technically complex to build. I don't really like the implementation in Oxygen. It is quite buggy. The UI is very flickery. It's not without problems. We probably don't want to do it in Breakdance, although it's possible we will. But what are we going to do? Tell everybody that has a site with a repeater, haha, just kidding, you now need to buy a third-party plugin or you need to rewrite this for the code block? What about everybody using selector detector? We don't have selector detector in Breakdance.
That's actually a really interesting point, because I've covered it a little bit, but never really had that like aha moment that I would expect from a feature like selector detector in terms of reception that people have. But going back to the point about the repeater, obviously that is a huge deal, and especially now in 4.0 that the duplicate ID issue is resolved. The other thing that's interesting is like something like Bricks Builder, for instance, their query loop can do users, terms, and posts, which is something that I think would be very welcome. But I guess the question is like,
If
there.
that's invested in Oxygen and uploaded on the roadmap, it's likely to build it.
So
A lot of people say, hey, we don't build features that are requested in Oxygen. If you look at all the history of our blog post release updates, we have built a significant number of the most popular feature requests. Everyone has their own pet request, and the less popular ones are obviously less likely to get built. But a lot of the big ones do get built, and they will continue to be built. And I know people say, oh, development's slow. We wish it was faster. Oxygen is a legacy code base. It was, coded in 2015 originally. It's built on Angular 1. We tacked a lot of stuff on top of it because we didn't know everything people would want, as of 2022 when we originally coded it in 2015. So, the architecture there was meant to support the initial features we built, but not, all the new features people have requested. So we can tack stuff on top of it, but often it results in bugs, and it's slower to build features that way. So another reason we didn't make Breakdance an update to Oxygen is because we would have never been able to implement these features in Breakdance in a 3-year time period. It wouldn't have happened. We'd still be working on it, and nobody would have got Oxygen 4.0 or really any of the other Oxygen updates that took place when we were also building Breakdance behind the scenes.
Yeah, interesting. The thing I think there are two things for me personally, and I think others would agree that is like so vital when building sites, which is what is essentially a repeater or a query loop builder, like blocks and generate, press, have, and that sort of thing. Is the repeater and then conditions. So there is there's obviously the dynamic data feature. So I guess one thing I'm curious about is, were there decisions made for I keep wanting to call it Bricks Builder. Sorry.
Maybe we need a different name that starts with a different letter.
It quite possibly, yeah. But
VR.
The conditions is a big one. Dynamic data is obviously there. But I was curious, was there decisions made that were trimming down for the sake of trimming down to differentiate it from Oxygen? Because it feels like there are so many things that are very similar but just done better than Oxygen that I'm curious, like I kind of got
not
that.
At all. The entire thing is built in Vue. We didn't really want, the plan wasn't to trim things down at all. The plan is to build every feature we think is going to be, mainstream and popular. So again, if you look at mainstream builders like Elementor, Divi, Beaver Builder, etc., the point isn't to trim down features and have less features at all.
Okay. Yep.
We think repeater is kind of an advanced thing, and it goes along with the Oxygen advanced user base. Elementor hasn't had repeaters for, I guess they've been around 5, 6, 7 years. No repeaters, very successful. We think we can do that with Breakdance as well, just in a package with less float and some of the advanced Oxygen features, but certainly not all of them.
Yeah.
Another thing about Oxygen, a lot of people that use Oxygen, they like Webflow. Breakdance is never going to be like Webflow. Webflow is for people that are, like us, probably like the people in this chat, who know how to use divs, classes, all that stuff. When I was building the Breakdance website with classes, I was thinking to myself, how the fuck are people using these other builders where classes aren't front and center? And in Breakdance, they're not front and center, but it's widely popular. People don't want to go through the learning curve of knowing how to style a class, and knowing display block or flex or grid or all these things. They just want something easy. Yeah, that's not what Oxygen is. That's not what Oxygen ever will be, and that's why we think Oxygen is going to continue to sell to the more advanced users. That's why we're going to continue to maintain it. We can continue to make money selling it to the advanced, the people that want a Webflow-like experience in WordPress. And then Breakdance is for the other 95% of the internet that wants a mainstream visual builder.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of things that I think have been, for me personally, frustrating over the years with Oxygen. And one of the big things that I said out loud, I was like, are you kidding me, is that there's a roadmap for this new builder. And there's never been any visibility into Oxygen, which I always felt like, you do things very differently and very like against the grain, I think, in general. So I always thought, I coined this thing, I don't know if anybody else knows this, but I call it #JustOxygen things. And like, I felt like that was like I never understood the like lack of visibility into the roadmap and that kind of thing. And then the contrast of seeing that now with this new builder, it's like, oh, it's like I just wish that there had been more visibility into Oxygen
Yeah,
in the past, and then
I know.
also the contrast now.
I get it. Here's the thing. The Oxygen business model does not work unless you're selling lifetime licenses. And we don't want people to buy lifetime licenses based on what the product might be in the future. A roadmap, I think it only works with a subscription model. I don't think we can convert an Oxygen to a subscription model. If you look at the comments in the Facebook group right now, um, I think that's pretty clear. Sure, 5, 10% of the people might say, I would happily pay, but that, pisses off the other 27,000. We already promised lifetime updates. We can never go back on that. We're not going
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
So if you have a roadmap and you're promising features, you don't deliver, you're in deep shit PR wise. Not that we're not in deep shit PR wise right now.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the reason for no public. Well, that's the reason for a public roadmap with Breakdance.
There we go. I like it. So I like the little slip. We're both there, so it's all good. If somebody in the chat says you knew it came down to money, if you look at Lewis's past like Twitter comments and stuff, you'll know he likes money. So it's like obviously there's this what's the word, like a goal. Yeah, like obviously there's
much more money. Look, Oxygen has been around for 7 years, and it's 1/100th the popularity of something like Elementor. I mean, it's much less popular than Divi. It's much less popular than Visual Composer, right?
yeah. So
we want to build something that's used, by the mainstream. And by the way, if this project actually takes off and is successful, we'd have, more revenue and might be able to fund faster Oxygen development. But as basically, I want to keep answering the previous question, which is, why is there no roadmap, the pace of Oxygen development, et cetera. So with Oxygen as a business that limps along selling lifetime licenses, if we change the pricing model to annual for new customers, it's going to cut sales in half. We've done this test before. We've done it with our other products like WPL Import. We know other people in the WordPress space. And that's basically what you can expect. And you also don't know what you're going to get in terms of renewals. So, say goodbye to half of the Oxygen team if we do that. That's not good. That slows development down, not speeds it up. When I originally released Oxygen, I thought, hey, we'll be able to change to change to annual licenses eventually, but unfortunately, we couldn't do it. The economics didn't make sense. Other builders, just came along like Elementor, Beaver, et cetera, which took way more market share than Oxygen could ever capture, just based on their ease of use.
So with that, I follow your logic for sure. So I'm curious if out of your products, WP, All Import, you have Oxygen. There's been others, I think, that have kind of come and gone as well. Do you have one that's like kind of that you would consider like your baby? Like, do you feel like you're leaving Oxygen behind in a way? Like, because that you were the one that created it and coded it from the outset. You did a lot of the tutorial videos. I have old support tickets answered by you.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, look, when I first started it, obviously I could do, some coding, I could do all the tutorial videos, et cetera. But as it scaled up, I can't handle all the support. I can't do all the tutorial videos, et cetera. But am I abandoning my baby? In a way, yes, I did when we released 3.0. I said, hey, Elijah, you're more than capable enough to run this. So you're in charge. You're the product manager, you lead support, you lead the community, you handle all of it. And I'm going to go work on something else, which was Breakdance.
Super interesting. So another thing that I have a list of notes here, so I keep glancing around. So there was at one point in the past, I recall very briefly, an affiliate program on the early Oxygen 1.x at some time, and it got dropped. And now, of course, I noticed that there is an affiliate program on this new builder, and I think there's probably quite a few of us that would have retired off of an Oxygen affiliate program. So maybe not, I know you have visibility into the numbers. I don't, but.
Okay, I'll give you the numbers. So if you look at the competing affiliate programs, I think they're paying about 50%. I think Elementor is paying 50%. If you look at Elementor's pricing, the packages are from $49 to $999. I don't know what the initial sale is, but they could pay commissions on that initial sale. I don't think they're paying commissions on upgrades or renewals. So if the average customer goes in and buys, let's say, the $99, the $199 package, that's a $50 or $100 commission for the affiliate. You're probably going to have to ask the bigger Elementor affiliates what those commissions actually are. Maybe people are buying the $49 package, only getting a $25 commission. But either way, Oxygen used to be $99. If we offered 50% commissions, our commission's only $50 when someone else could sell, an Elementor license, make $100. Now, a $99 lifetime license, when we lose $50, that's only $49 left. Then we got 4% payment fees. We might have 5% refund rate. We got to pay support. We got to pay development. The economics make no sense until you get the renewal at full price, right? Because that's where your actual profit is. But with a lifetime license, paying a commission that would be remotely competitive in the market doesn't make sense. Secondly, a lot of the YouTubers in the space wouldn't have promoted Oxygen because it's just not mainstream enough. If you look at a lot of the YouTube channels that, they make videos like, how to build a WordPress website in 2022. Well, Breakdance is definitely going to be a topic for those videos because it can be used by the typical person who's going to search how to build a WordPress website in 2022. There's no way in hell, some of these YouTube, they're great, but they're not going to teach classes and Flexbox and web design. I mean, look at WP Crafter, Adam Pricer, for example. He's got a great channel, and the slogan is WordPress for non-techies. Oxygen is WordPress for people who are fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah. So then the other thing is, there is what I believe is almost an aversion to anything other than LTDs that has been fostered by the Oxygen community, because the tool was for so long $99, and then people would bring out like an edition pack or themes or whatever, and it'd be $119 or $149, and people get all up in arms and like, it's more than the builder, rah! And then anybody charges a yearly subscription, and then the whole world falls apart.
Yep.
So I guess I don't really know where my question was.
Let me get some thoughts on that then. Yeah, development costs money. There are a lot of features people added to Oxygen through add-ons, and they cost money. And then people think, well, I want to pay $99 for Oxygen and have every single one of these feature. It's not realistic. There's no way with the revenue of a lifetime deal, for example, something like that. I read the comments again in the chat. You know what? Let me answer this question, and then I want to go through all the chat comments.
So
and start answering those.
Real quick, let me interrupt you because there's going to be a bit of a delay. So if you have a specific question for Louis, drop it in the chat now, and we'll answer it in like 60 seconds. If it's good, don't ask when it's going to come out because we don't know.
I want to answer the hard ones too. I want to actually go scroll down this list and answer some of the hard. Is there a way to scroll all the way up on the list and answer the difficult questions?
I don't know how far back you can go.
Well, if you guys ask difficult questions, repost them, and I'll do what I can. Can Louis breakdance? Louis cannot breakdance. Louis cannot dance.
Where did the name come from?
How do I? It was on Brand Bucket, and I could afford it, and it had ended in a .com, and it was brandable. How do we plan to reassure the community? Any big updates coming for Oxygen? Like I said, no roadmap. Everybody come here and shoot me. But yes, we're going to continue updating Oxygen at the same exact pace we always have. We're going to continue going down that GitHub list basically by order of ease of building it and thumbs up. If you go to the Oxygen bugs and features GitHub and you sort by popularity of the request, you'll see what got built. All the stuff at the top of that list that didn't get built, it's likely eventually it's going to get built. What would Louis say to current Oxygen owners? Should we change to Breakdance? I'm going to do a video comparing Oxygen and Breakdance in more detail because I know Jonathan's doing a first look, but I've been looking at both these things for the last 5 years. So then you can ultimately decide. If you like a Webflow-like experience in WordPress, I would not recommend switching. If you like Elementor, but you don't want the bloat, you want maybe better elements, and you want better WooCommerce and global styles experience, you'll definitely like Breakdance. What would Louis say to current, can we trust Oxygen will still be our go-to builder for years to come? Whether it's your go-to builder for years to come is up to you, but we're not going to stop providing support for it, selling it, updating it, or honoring the lifetime license. If you release an optional small Oxygen support subscription without any features, I would subscribe. Well, I thank you for the kind words. We're glad you subscribe, but the vast majority of users won't subscribe. I mean, what did Jonathan just say? When people did annual licenses for some of the Oxygen add-ons in the group, people said absolutely not. We don't want an annual subscription. The mix of Oxygen customers is very interesting. It's like this combination of people who are very, very price conscious and want the lifetime deal, very, very performance conscious, right? They pinch kilobytes, they pinch pennies, and they're very, very advanced. They want, divs, classes, flexbox, all that jazz.
So,
and while there are some go ahead.
I was just going to interject real quick with something slightly different before I forget, which is that I started off the stream by saying that my initial response was a degree of uncertainty and kind of uncomfortability with this announcement. And Taylor hit on one of the points, which I forgot about, which was how and why does Breakdance already have over double the engineers that Oxygen has? Because I think you already said that Breakdance has 5. I know you don't hire anybody but the best. And so where does that emphasis lie, and how are you going to prioritize people and updates and money and that kind of thing?
Yeah, so Oxygen right now, it has 2 engineers, the product manager. Occasionally we add some product contract engineers. So we've had, it points up to 5 engineers on Oxygen, but right now it's 2. We just hired another for the second, but we also just lost a couple engineers. We're probably not going to change the Oxygen team size too much because that's what the revenue supports. Oxygen would not be a profitable business with 5 engineers. So where did I get the money for 5 engineers for Breakdance? WPL import. Sofly's other product, which does a good bit better than Oxygen.
And has for some time, right?
Yeah, WPL import's been around since 2011. I think beginning of 2011 when we first shipped.
Let's see. Do we have any other good questions in here? There's a mix of
I want the hard questions. There were a bunch of good ones. Anyone who didn't get your question answered, just everyone else shut up. Anybody who didn't get your question answered, ask it right now.
Kevin has a good question. Kevin is another.
How is there no market subscription for Oxygen as a pro tool? Webflow is worth $4 billion. Okay, yeah, Webflow has venture capital. Webflow isn't profitable at $4 billion as far as I know. I think they've raised hundreds of millions of dollars. And that allows them to build all sorts of enterprise stuff. They have their own CMS. The pricing for Webflow is way, way higher. You export to raw HTML. It's used by more enterprise companies, their internal design teams. They want to whip something up with an Oxygen-like experience, but they're not using WordPress. They're not building websites for clients. I mean, if you look at their list of customers on their website, these are huge brands with massive design teams. Maybe they have 100 users. Everybody's paying a monthly fee. So one customer might be paying Webflow thousands of dollars a month. Oxygen, it's mostly independent people who are creating websites for clients. What's the next question?
I got to toss in the obligatory drop a stream on this like if you're happy that Louis is here. A like on this stream, a stream on this like, same shit.
I gave you a like. You got 75 likes now.
Thanks, dude.
If Breakdance and Oxygen are 2 completely different parts, when are we getting an Oxygen rewrite? Never. We're never going to rewrite Oxygen. Absolutely not. It would break backwards compatibility. It would break everybody's existing website. We can't do that.
So then a question I have related to that would be kind of does that mean that Oxygen is going to be forever hindered by its legacy kind of like bloat, if you will? Like,
absolutely. It's a legacy product. It's built on Angular. Every product becomes legacy eventually. Right? And that's why, people go in with the old, out with the new. If you look at WordPress, for example, and I don't know, I'd like to talk about Gutenberg a little bit.
Yes.
But if you engineer for WordPress and you actually work with the WordPress code base, it's a fucking nightmare. It's backwards compatible. It's legacy code. The concept of like pure functions and types and any of that, not at all. It's, it was written in, PHP 4 and then PHP 5, and they can't break anything. They don't want to. It powers too much of the internet. So they're not going to break backwards compatibility, and that means the code base is going to be a legacy code base. It doesn't mean it can't have functionality, but it does mean the pace of development is relatively slow. If you look at the WordPress core, other than Gutenberg, what are the real significant changes that happen to it? Honestly, not much. It makes people happy with what it does, and those are the people that use it. If the product doesn't do what you want, you don't use it. If Breakdance is Oxygen, if why not release new features for auction with payment fee? Well, we promised lifetime licensing. So, I mean, look, people are angry at us right now that Oxygen is going to continue to be maintained in the same way it always have, and we're giving them a 1-year, license to Breakdance, and people are mad. So, you think we can release new Oxygen features for a fee? Absolutely not. There's got to be free. That's what we promised, and that's what we will deliver. Is Breakdance better in performance anyway from Oxygen? What about accessibility and DOM stuffing? Breakdance is not better from a performance standpoint from Oxygen. In alpha, it's probably a bit worse, but that's due to bugs where we're just loading stuff where we should. So we can get it similar. As far as the HTML output, Oxygen is ID based. Breakdance is class based. So there are no IDs in the Breakdance output. We could never take Oxygen to classes and remove the IDs because people have written CSS that relies on those IDs. So there's just no way, be a breaking change, which is one we can't do. What about accessibility and DOM stuffing? We have a menu builder element that is the drag and drop menu builder in Breakdance. Totally accessible, tab through it with keyboard nav, the ARIA attributes, hit enter to open the menus. It's awesome. I think our tabs element also keyboard accessible. Everything's supposed to be accessible. It's an alpha, so I'm sure there are bugs, but whatever's wrong, report it. We'll focus on it and we'll fix it. What about DOM stuffing? Like, is it divception? It is more divception than Oxygen. The code is not the same as Oxygen. It's still good. It's better than a lot of other builders, but it's not Oxygen. Like if you look at the image element in Breakdance, it has a number. The Oxygen's image element is just a raw HTML image. It's just an IMG tag. Advanced users love that. Breakdance doesn't have a raw IMG element. The image element is wrapped with a div, and there's a figure around it, so you can add a caption, you can put a mask on it. This is what people who want to, build websites rapidly and do things easily want to do. But there are a couple of extra HTML elements in there. There is a div element in Breakdance, so you can just add one div to your page if you want. You can't put it in the root build. In Breakdance, every page has to be built with sections. So if you're trying to do like a div with a sidebar layout, you better stick with Oxygen and the inheritable templates and the divs. If you just want to add sections to your page easily, you want to let your client in there and not screw things up, I recommend Breakdance. Where do you think Oxygen needs to improve? Honestly, go to the feature request page, sort by most upvoted or most commented. Those are the areas. And also bug fixes. It is buggy, but there are limits as to what we're actually capable of doing to fix all these things, because a lot of them are kind of baked into the architecture and the way we wrote things. So there are things we can refactor to fix bugs, and we do that, but a total rewrite that would solve all the problems just isn't on the table for the reason I already gave.
So I was going to say a hypothetical for you is, let's say, as a result of this announcement, Oxygen sales drop off a cliff, and you decide to sunset Oxygen. What happens in that case? Because surely you've thought about that. Surely you anticipated what we're experiencing here today.
Well, here's the thing. If Oxygen is the same product it was yesterday, and sales didn't drop off a cliff. So if people stop buying Oxygen because of Breakdance, it's probably because they're going to buy Breakdance. Either that, or they don't trust us to provide updates anymore, and they don't want to buy Oxygen for what it does currently. But if Oxygen sales drop off a cliff because everyone starts buying Breakdance, great, we're making the same amount of money. We can continue to fund the Oxygen team. I don't think Oxygen sales are going to drop off a cliff. Someone asked why we lowered the price. I'll get into that in a minute, but we did lower the price.
Oh, did you?
Oh yeah, dude, it's $149 a year now because not a year, lifetime. I'll get into that in a sec. Don't forget to ask me about the new pricing. But yeah, I don't think Oxygen sales are going to drop off the cliff. If they do, then we can fund it with Breakdance. Obviously, if our business collapses and we go out of business, then yes, we're out of business. If we can't afford to pay engineers and developers and support agents, then we're gone. But I don't think that's likely. I don't anticipate that happening. Oxygen does the exact same thing it did yesterday. People who want to use Oxygen continue to buy it. If they would prefer Breakdance, then we'll have revenue from Breakdance. So I don't think it should make any difference to our bottom line. Will I be able to develop locally and push updates to the live site similar to Git? I mean, it's not a built-in feature of Breakdance. I use local by Flywheel. It's pretty good. You can just, in one click, you can send your everything up to the live site. It integrates with WP Engine too, so definitely check that out. Oh, somebody wrote something and it scrolled the chat. How do I go up? Would I release Oxygen as open source if we decide to drop this vote? Absolutely. It's already GPL. Oxygen is already. Did my internet die?
Nope, you're here.
I'm still here. Okay. Would we lease? Where was I in the chat? Where was I in the chat? If Breakdance, okay, answer the rewrite one. Scroll down from here. Why should I answer? Would you release Oxygen? Okay, here's where I was. Why should I be interested in Breakdance if I got Oxygen? What are the selling points? We have a great WooCommerce integration. It's really nice. It's better than anything you've ever seen in a visual builder. We have a form builder. We have a drag and drop menu builder. There's no Gutenberg integration, but you can let your clients write into Breakdance. They're probably not going to throw anything off.
So that's actually a really funny point, because you would often get people that were new to the Oxygen ecosystem posting in the Facebook group, and they'd say, "Where's the form builder?" And they would get flamed to hell for even proposing such a preposterous idea. And it's again, it's funny the contrast. But does that go back to your point of that you're hoping that or expecting that these are two different markets of people?
Absolutely. Elementor has a form builder. It's a mainstream product. I think Bricks has a form builder. I don't know if Beaver has a form builder, probably. But yeah, I think, people who want an easy way to build websites often want forms. Power users they have forms plugins they know how to use, like Gravity Forms. They know how to whip up complex forms. They know how to code API integrations for things that maybe aren't supported out of the box. There are a ton of add-ons to integrate with the more advanced stuff. I don't know if we're still using Gravity Forms, but we definitely use Gravity Forms for a number of our support forms at one point. It's great. There's WP Forms too, which I don't think is quite on the same level of Gravity Forms in terms of power, but it's certainly powerful. You can do a lot with it. It's not like a form builder that you'll find in Breakdance or Elementor. We do have a good form builder in Breakdance though, for email subscribe forms, contact forms, login forms, register forms. You can add them to your page in one click in Breakdance. Does that feature really fit into Oxygen? Is that feature going to make anybody buy Oxygen? I don't think so, because most people who would want to use Oxygen know how to build with divs and classes. They don't need a form builder. They have a powerful form builder that they know how to use.
How do you feel like? Go ahead.
You go ahead, and then I'll go back to the questions from the sidebar.
Yeah. So I was curious.
And can we move this to the Facebook group, because we got 230 people watching here? But do you just want to interview me on the Facebook group? I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Let's continue this here. Sure. And then let's do another one of these tomorrow.
Yeah, because I think by then we're gonna have more questions. People have had a chance to actually use it.
And I'm gonna get a haircut if the place is still open.
I'm gonna riot if you get a haircut, because you and I are on the same level here.
I get the beard though.
Yeah, you do. I'm not even close.
Camera. Look like a wizard. Okay. Would we release Oxygen as open source? It's already GPL, but yes, if we ever stop development, we'd put it on GitHub, GPL, or MIT. You guys do whatever you want with it. It's not happening though. I mean, obviously, I don't know what's going to happen in 10 years, but shit, I don't know what's going to happen to WordPress in 10 years at that point. Offer an optional subscription for supporters without any features. We're not a charity. I appreciate it. If you want to give us free money, just go buy Breakdance and then never use it. People are mad because how you handled it. This is a total clusterfuck. Yeah, I would agree. But again, we just want people testing the alpha. We don't have a PR team. Hopefully I'll do a couple of these interviews and have it piss less people off. But yet rereading that initial Facebook post, we should have anticipated these objections and answered those before being like, yo, Breakdance, check it out. Yeah. But hopefully you guys can now go in the Facebook group and comment and help me answer some of those questions, because I'm going to go back to that thread after about an hour. It's going to be...
It was already at like 200 comments before you even came on. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a doozy.
Right. Yeah. So probably what I'm going to do is make a couple videos basically answering the most common questions. Just post those in the Facebook group later tonight. Anyway, we have a free version to introduce Breakdance on launch. No free version on launch. We may do a free version eventually, but yeah, we don't have to do a free version right now. We wait till we have revenue.
One question, if we're about to wrap it up here, would be related to Gutenberg.
You don't have to wrap it up here. Do we have to wrap it up?
No. I thought you were indicating you had to go.
No, I don't have to go anywhere.
Cool.
I have absolutely no commitments or obligations other than Breakdance or Oxygen.
So
for VA forever. I got DoorDash. I can get food shipped in.
There we go. So I think one of the biggest, probably for me at least, and in particular lately, one of the biggest things that I think might have been a missed opportunity for Oxygen in terms of like differentiating it and elevating it to a bigger user base was the Gutenberg integration. Was it's so cool that you can create your own Gutenberg block, but the fact that if somebody edits their content in Gutenberg, then it doesn't reflect back into Oxygen. It's like that pretty much kills that integration for me, especially as it relates to clients.
I'm going to say it publicly. I really shouldn't say this. And I'm sorry to everybody who's worked on Gutenberg. I really see what you're trying to do and I respect it. And people will say, oh, I don't want it to be successful because it competes with Oxygen. But the reality is WPL import makes a lot more money. And the more successful WordPress is, the more money Soflyy makes. Gutenberg's a fucking dumpster fire.
So with that in mind, do you have no interest in even exploring it?
We've explored it. We won't touch it. We looked into it heavily. One of the features we wanted to include in Oxygen 4.0 was a better Gutenberg integration. We wanted to be able to bring those changes back into Oxygen. Good fucking luck. The Gutenberg APIs are a train wreck. Everything about it's not good. There's a reason everybody's still using builders like Elementor, Divi, Beaver Builder, Oxygen, Bricks, Visual Composer, etc. There's a reason Gutenberg has 2 stars. There's a reason none of the teams that have released these things for Gutenberg are making big money. There's a reason I think most of the revenue from companies like Brainstorm Force, Make Ultimate Add-ons, and all the other ones are coming from their add-ons for page builders and not their add-ons for Gutenberg. I mean, just open it up and use it. The UI is like this quantum mechanical thing where everything flickers in and out of existence and the menu moves from one place to another depending on the element you're editing. And your site doesn't look the way it does on the front end, on the back end necessarily. It used to not be in an iframe. So the WordPress admin styles would conflict with Gutenberg. And when good engineers went into the WordPress space, or went into the Gutenberg GitHub and tried to explain this stuff, the Gutenberg team was just like, well, they just kind of told them off. I love the WordPress core team. I love what they do. I love the volunteers especially, but I don't have high hopes for Gutenberg. I was reading a Hacker News. Every time it gets brought up on Hacker News, which is basically just Reddit, but for software engineer San Francisco types, everyone's like, man, what is this editor? And I think the 2-star review kind of speaks for itself. A lot of people are saying Gutenberg is the future. They're still using page builders. Just look at the stats on built with. Everybody's using Elementor. 5 million active installs. Gutenberg's been here for, 4 years now? They've had time. They haven't done it.
Yep. So if you have a question in there, go ahead, but got another one.
Will Breakdance have lifetime license available? Absolutely not. Look at what happened to us with Oxygen with lifetime licenses. No chance of a lifetime license with Breakdance. Absolutely not. How close is Oxygen to its ceiling? 80 out of 100, 65 out of 100? I'd say base probably about 80 out of 100. I mean, we've been adding features to it for really the last 5 or 6 years. There are a number of bugs that we got to fix and polish that we got to do and little tweaks we got to make. But as far as like significant changes to the way anything works in Oxygen, we did overhaul the UI in 4.0, but like all the same features are there. They all work basically the same way. So you can expect those kind of improvements, quality of life improvements for more advanced users. But as far as totally changing the way something works or significant new feature, very unlikely.
So with this entirely new code base that you have for Breakdance, are there things that you wanted to do in Oxygen that you were simply unable to because of, past like code hindrances?
Absolutely. Like in Breakdance, like in Oxygen, we have an Elements API. In Breakdance, we're going to have an Elements IDE, which is like a visual builder for the elements. You can't do that with the way Oxygen is architected. You can do it with the way Breakdance is architected. WooCommerce, for example, it's a whole different ballgame in Breakdance with the global styles, the brand colors, etc. But the way Oxygen global styles are already organized, it wouldn't fit into that model. You guys should check out the Breakdance WooCommerce video. But the Oxygen model of global styles, it wouldn't fit. We'd have to reorganize and change it significantly, which again would break backwards compatibility. So we couldn't do it. There are a number of other things like that. So yeah, I mean, once you understand all the things that people want, and that's basically what I learned over the last 5 years with Oxygen and watching other builders like Elementor, Divi, etc. You get a sense of what people really want, and you realize, hey, there's a much bigger portion of the market who isn't this advanced and wants easier to use things. And when the Oxygen core was built, it wasn't designed to support any of those features. So tacking them on is either difficult, impossible, or bug prone, or would break backwards compatibility.
So then,
Go ahead.
with that same kind of timeline and how Oxygen developed, new features came out, and then you would hit these barriers. How have you kind of factored that in with Breakdance? Because surely you don't want to run into the same problems again. Is that purely down to a cost perspective?
No, it's the whole architecture from the beginning, like how it's built on a fundamental level, like the core, the technology used. Um, in Breakdance, we're using a technology called TypeScript, which means it's a developer term, but it makes it a lot easier to refactor without introducing bugs. Like any type of like red uncaught exception error that you would ever see in Google Chrome, it's either an exception or a type error. TypeScript makes type errors basically impossible, and we have TypeScript on a significant portion of the code base. Putting it on the Oxygen code base, it's unrealistic. It wouldn't happen. It's not written in a way that could even accommodate that. So that's one thing we did to ensure that we can continue developing quickly going down the line. Um, every product eventually does turn into a legacy code base, though. Every product does.
Yep.
If you look at Elementor, for example, it's built in Backbone, I think it is. They have a bigger team. They have venture capital. They have lots of revenue. They're moving at a decent speed, but they're not moving quite as fast as they would be able to if they did everything from the beginning, from the ground up. You look at the Bricks guy, that guy is flying because he built everything with Vue. He's probably using TypeScript. He built it all recently. He understood all the features. So that are necessary. So he architected things in a way that he could build those features.
Yeah, so how do you see Bricks as a competitor? Obviously, it's got a similar color scheme and similar letter in the name. Did you look at that or other builders for inspiration? Because it feels like the
Honestly, not
Breakdance
really.
the interface feels similar.
Well, you know what? They were obvious improvements. If you look at a preview of what Elementor has planned for their interface, it's the same. These are obvious improvements from Elementor, Oxygen, and every other builder. There are only so many ways to do a builder, you know?
Yep, yep.
We didn't look at it heavily, so I don't know what they have that we don't and what we have that they don't. If it becomes formidable competition, we'll look into it more heavily. But right now, I'm more focused on the mainstream builders like, Elementor, Beaver Builder, Visual Composer, Divi that have millions of users.
Yep, yep,
I
totally.
gave Bricks a quick play around. I will say Breakdance is global styles, WooCommerce, drag and drop menu builder. It has conditions, totally blow it out of the water. That said, Bricks has repeaters. We don't. We might never.
Yeah,
They're not
that's
putting it on the roadmap, but we may never have it. So if you guys, and what I'm thinking for repeaters too is people want to build lists of posts, but I don't necessarily want to give users all the same customization options they have in a repeater because most users aren't going to be able to use those. I think if you look at common websites, there's kind of a common theme about they have card layouts. They could either be a grid or they could be stacked. They might want to show some custom fields. Like imagine a real estate site where it's number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms. They might have an image at the top of the card or the left of the card. They might want filtering options. They might want a search bar. Maybe we'll build some kind of repeater like that, or maybe we build something like Oxygen's Easy Post, which was honestly anything but easy. You had to code, and that would kind of give users the best of both worlds. If they want to, code the template for the loop, they can do it. If they want to just have like a basic list, but also put some metadata in there, they could do it. That's the sort of feature that we're looking at for a builder like Breakdance. It's not the sort of feature that we look at for a builder like Oxygen. And a repeater is maybe not the sort of feature we look at for Breakdance. If Elementor ultimately adds a repeater because they feel it's necessary, maybe we would at that point if they really think it's a mainstream feature. Personally, I doubt that it is.
yeah, yeah. So interesting. There's like there's a facet of this where it's like I could see this world and where it very quickly starts to like blur these lines of like, advanced developer, user friendly, and then it's almost like, pushing Oxygen further and further down the the like convincing, kind of builder argument. Yeah, there's
That might happen. I mean, honestly, if we were able to replicate all of the advanced power user features in an easier use way, then I think most people are going to opt for those.
Yeah, because I mean, already like the minor changes that could have probably been done with Oxygen, like the dynamic data interface in Breakdance, the fact that I can type in what I want and then like it filters down what I'm actually looking for in that interface is so nice. minor things like tab to elements like keyboard nav when you're searching in the ad panel, stuff like that. It's just like it's almost like so frustrating that it's here and not in Oxygen. You know, it's like those minor quality of life things. It's just like,
The add-on developers really not implemented that functionality.
I mean, I didn't feel like the onus was on them. You know?
No, it is kind of on us, but with the limited resources we had, we focused on building features, but in a lot of instances, we didn't build the quality of life things. Hey, now that we've shipped 4.0, you can expect to continue focus on that. I can't promise anything specific, but if you guys have quality of life improvements you'd like to see, post them on the GitHub and get them uploaded. And it's likely they'll get built. Like we added copy and paste. I mean, I'm sure we're going to continue adding more stuff like that as it gets requested.
Yep. Yep. Kevin.
But you know, it does suck to see all these features that you wanted. I mean, you look at, Breakdance, you see features that you want in Oxygen. You don't, Oxygen doesn't have, it sucks. I mean, you look at Bricks, they have better keyboard nav than Oxygen 2 in their user interface.
Yeah, yeah. See, the thing was, prior to today, I've been eyeballing Bricks quietly. I haven't done any videos on it, and I also haven't talked about this, but I was eyeballing it primarily because it had the query loop that does users terms and posts, which if Oxygen's repeater could do that, it opens up a whole world of possibility for, marketplace websites and all kinds of different things like that. It's so interesting that now there's this other player in the space that has this other set of features and focus. And I am curious the reception, because earlier on I was asking, how do you feel about this? And everybody's like, thumbs down, bad, So obviously there's a bit of shock factor because it's been 2 hours since you made the post. And so people I'm sure need to sleep on this and see how this development is going to go over the next few weeks and few months.
Can I answer some more of the questions in the chat? And
Yeah.
Scroll to the bottom. Someone asked, how will Breakdance compare to Oxygen for developers? These Oxygen, it feels like a web developer focused builder compared to Elementor, which is more designer and non-technical focused. I should probably read that slower because only the guy that asked the question knows it. How will Breakdance compare to Oxygen for developers? We use Oxygen because it feels like a web developer focused builder compared to Elementor and Divi, which are designer and non-technical focused. Yeah, Oxygen will continue to be the developer-focused builder with classes front and center, state, before, after, all that kind of stuff. Breakdance, not so much. Some of the features are there hidden away behind different panels, but the main focus of Breakdance isn't. It does have some power users for developers. You'll have to play around with it and see if it fits your workflow. But that's not the main idea behind Breakdance. Oxygen strength is being thought for pro users. You find a niche you should continue to thread. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. Marcelo, lifetime license until we rename our product and sell it to you again. That's why people are pissed. Well, hey, look, you can keep using Oxygen. You get exactly what you paid for and continued updates. I know you want all the features and enhancements that you would see in Breakdance with people paying $149 a year for it. But all the things I'm promising in Breakdance, all the things I've built, those only make sense if we get a lot of customers paying $149 a year, right? None of that would ever happen with a lifetime license. So, I mean, if you want a lifetime license, but you want the level of features you get in a subscription-based product, it doesn't make any business sense. Your businesses can't do it. It's not profitable. What is the purchase path to Oxygen lifetime member to get Breakdance? You get a 1-year free license to Breakdance. Will there be some kind of discount after that? I don't know. Maybe, probably not. I can't say anything now. I just have no idea. But right now, 1 year for free.
Good question from Bryn. He said, why would somebody use Breakdance over Elementor? Because you talked about Breakdance versus Oxygen, but Breakdance versus Elementor and the other incumbents that you'd be competing against.
Yeah, I'll make a more detailed video versus the competition down the road. That does seem to stir the pot pretty heavily.
That's what you're known for, though, dude.
I know, but it's not my goal to do that with Breakdance. It's my goal to do that with Oxygen. I'll get into the reasons why if you ask me in a couple minutes. It's not my goal with Breakdance. That said, I will give a couple of key features. The rest you'll have to play around with it and you see if you like it. I think you will. One, WooCommerce. In Breakdance, it kicks ass out of the box. It has fallback defaults for WooCommerce. You can build a WooCommerce site without a theme and it looks amazing. And then you can get the whole thing on brand in the global styler in just a few clicks. And there are 24 WooCommerce elements, including a mini cart, and all the elements you need for product pages, checkout pages, cart pages, etc., that will allow you to build, a WooCommerce store. You will love it for WooCommerce. Blows everything else out of the water. Is one of our main focuses. Other features, we have a drag and drop menu builder. So if you want to build responsive, accessible, modern looking drop down menus, you can do both the WP menu element, which will just pull in your menu from WordPress, or you can use the menu builder, which you can put anything you want in those drop downs. You can build menus like Dribble, Stripe, etc. So yeah. If you look, I think Elementor has improved their performance relatively significantly. I'm not sure how much, so I defer to somebody who does those comparison videos. But we have Div, Flexbox stuff isn't experimental. We have a visual CSS class manager similar to Oxygen. It does have a few more advanced, you can write PHP code in the builder. It does have some nice advanced features that Elementor doesn't have. Elementor has some elements that we don't have though. Are we going to add those? Probably, if people want them, but we don't have them right now. We also don't have a design library. So if you need a design library, stick with Elementor. We'll have a design library eventually, but not during the alpha, and we're not going to have a big one on 1.0 either. So Oxygen's going to have a bigger design library, at least in the beginning. Elementor and Divi, much bigger design library. As far as elements go, we have some elements that they don't have, but they have some elements that we don't have. So it just depends on what kind of site you're trying to build. You'll have to look at, what elements we have and what elements they have and decide, what you want. How much different would everyone's reaction be if we had come out and said all this before just dropping it? Chalk that one up for the lessons learned file. When I make my third builder in a year,
oh Lord.
Auction is built on Angular. Yes. Kyle, what a mess. Yeah. It's not like you need to abandon. Yeah, Sean says you need to abandon the fucking lifetime deal system. LOL. We can't. We made a commitment to existing customers. We're going to honor it as long as Soflyy is still in business and it's not going anywhere because we've got other products. We're going to honor lifetime licenses.
So, back to your comment about WooCommerce, it just sparked a thought, which is Oxygen felt like when the WooCommerce integration first came out, I was like, holy shit, this could be top notch, like Oxygen plus WooCommerce, let's go. And then it seemed like it pretty much just died on the vine from there. Like it was never touched again. And I was curious, was there some technical limitation you guys ran up against that prevented any further, oxygenization of the...
Honestly, it was the focus on all the other features people wanted, right? There's so many basic things we didn't have. We didn't have undo and redo for a long time. So we spent a lot of development resources building the stuff that would fix things that just pissed people off, rather than building new features. I wish Oxygen had a better architecture from the beginning and had more revenue from the beginning, so we would have been able to do both and ultimately build a sort of product that could have been switched to a subscription model. But yeah, we couldn't do it. It sucks.
So many of the same questions here regarding...
Is Oxygen profitable or are you lost? No, Oxygen makes money. So we can continue to pay everybody and continue to update it. In the current economic situation, sales have gone kind of up and down. When we launched 3.0, we got a bit of a bump, and then Elementor had a bit of a snafu with, I think it was their 3.0 release. We had a huge bump, and then that kind of went down to a level slightly higher than 3.0. Now with 4.0, we'll see what it is. It's a little higher than it was before, but not by much. But the economy, WordPress plugin sales in general are a little bit down. I think just due to the nature of the economy, with the whole COVID thing and all the stimulus money and everybody going remote, website builders just went bananas. Like you look at Shopify stock, Wix stock, etc. They went phew, and then they went right back to this as sales kind of came back to their baseline. So I think we're kind of coming back to the baseline. Who knows what's going to happen with the economy though, right? That's hard to predict. So it might recover, get better, sales go up, might get worse, sales go down. You never really know.
Did you guys trial at one point subscriptions for Oxygen? Didn't you quietly do it and then quietly revert it?
Yeah, we did, and it just nuked sales.
How long did you let it ride for?
I think a couple weeks.
Okay.
Cost us a lot of money, and we tried higher prices too. We did it. I think it was an A/B test. We've done it for WPL import too for a couple weeks, and it just hasn't worked. Although for WPL import, we're probably at the point that we could pull it off now. Not sure though. Might be something we try. So you just let advanced users go somewhere else when Oxygen finally dies out due to old technology. ultimately, yes, every technology eventually dies off, right? Nobody's using punch cards to program computers anymore. Nobody's using Fortran. People aren't building websites using CGI scripts. Nobody's writing Perl scripts. Any, CMS built on Perl doesn't exist. The whole ASP.NET thing, enterprise, but it's not mainstream. So yeah, when technology dies, it dies, but it dies when, ultimately people stop using it. So that's, years and years and years down the line. WordPress will die one day too, right? When WordPress dies, Oxygen will definitely die. Will it die before WordPress dies? I don't know. It's possible. Robert Turner doesn't feel warm and fuzzy. No, I'm not. I'm a fuzzy dude, but agreed marketing engineers are
Somebody asked earlier, I forget what the exact wording of the question was, but they were like, can we expect a little bit less of a brash Louis this time around?
Yeah, probably. With Oxygen, I really wanted to differentiate because a lot of Oxygen was for people who hated mainstream visual builders, right? It was like there are these builders like Elementor and Visual Composer and Divi, and a lot of developers they really didn't like them for various reasons. And it wasn't just the performance in the divception. It was like, I can't use a div. Where are the classes? It's not easy to write code. I could just build the whole site, not use a theme, but I have to use a theme. There are a lot of reasons why advanced people didn't like the mainstream visual builders, even though they were wildly popular. A lot of our marketing is to get people like that to realize Oxygen isn't just another typical visual builder. Breakdance is. Breakdance is a mainstream visual builder. It just has some kick-ass features that are going to make your life a lot easier for various things. Better elements, WooCommerce, drag and drop menu builder, kick-ass form integrations, and a number of cool advanced features.
It's such a damn shame that all that stuff couldn't have just been implemented in Oxygen.
I wish we could have just rewrote Oxygen in Vue. The original intent when I started coding this was actually to be Oxygen 4.0, but it became quickly apparent there's absolutely no way to do this without totally destroying Oxygen 3.x.
All you had to do was build a magic conversion tool, dude. That's it.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what we looked into, and you just can't do it, right? The elements, they have different, the shape of the data is different. Like the properties available on the elements, it's not the same. You can't use divs in the root with Breakdance. So what are we going to do? Everybody's site that uses divs in the root doesn't work. What about people who've used elements we don't have, like Superbox or a number of other ones? Our pricing table is better, but it's also different in Breakdance, right? Breakdance is more about the elements, less about the whole div and class situation. What are we going to do? Break people's pricing tables, but make them kind of sort of look like they did before? I mean, it'd be years of engineering effort too.
So on the topic of engineering questions, it's two things that popped into mind. I saw one was that if you disable Breakdance, then it dumps out just raw HTML. So your page should still look vaguely similar. Is that right?
Sorry, say that one again. I was reading the chat comments. I shouldn't have done that.
It's extremely tough. Yeah. So there was two things. One of them was if you disable Breakdance after you built content and it dumps out HTML onto your page. So does it still look as it did before?
No, it doesn't look the same. You keep your content, but not your styles.
So it's not going to be wrapped in short codes and bullshit like that?
No, it doesn't use there are no short codes except for dynamic data in Breakdance. It doesn't use short codes under the hood. It's all JSON under the hood. If you want to leave Breakdance, what you do is you click Use Default Editor, and it'll render the page to like HTML and then strip out the nonsense like HTML tags. So you won't end up with a bunch of divs either. You just get your content, your images, your video URLs. So you'll have all your content that you can then like copy and paste into whatever else you're using.
Okay.
Design though, totally gone. All CSS gone. None of that's there. Just a way to get away from the one-time fees with Oxygen. Just be honest with it. Well, in a way, it is, right? We want to have a product that we can charge a subscription for and build all these great features. We could never do it with Oxygen, and there was no way to rewrite Oxygen like this. I mean, if we could have done it, we would have rewrote an Oxygen like this, included lifetime access, and then for the existing customers, and then charge new customers a subscription price. But from an engineering standpoint, we couldn't do it. Please confirm you got a good deal on the domain name, and that's why it's called Breakdance. I know 42 grand is a good deal, but yes, that's ultimately why we picked the name. How extendable will Breakdance be with the developer API? I don't really know. I don't know yet. It depends on what people request and who ultimately ends up using it. So maybe very, maybe not so much. We're going to release some API documentation for Breakdance soon-ish. Will Oxygen keep getting updated in the future? Yes, nothing will change with Oxygen. Same as always. I guess most of the questions were answered. I still would love to see some Breakdance features in Oxygen, like the visual view where classes are used. Go request these. Go request the quality of life features on the GitHub and get them uploaded. If you have to post them in the group to get some traction for them and get people to see them and say, hey, I want this, do it. I mean, we just made a number of UI enhancements. I'm sure we'll make more. We're always adding little tweaks. They're never as fast as what people want. So people are like, oh, the Oxygen team, they don't listen to the users. Well, that's because you guys want this, but we can only build this much of it, right? So we have to prioritize what we build. But eventually it does get built. By the time we build it, of course, there's, you know, a new list of features that we got to build. So, right, we didn't used to have repeaters. Everyone's like, I would never use Elementor, I would only use Oxygen. Now we have repeaters. I'm never fucking using Breakdance. No repeaters? What the hell? So, and then you add repeater functionality, and then it's like, well, we need to support users in the repeaters. Well, shit, we didn't used to have repeaters, but okay, new feature request for repeaters. Go request it, get it upvoted, and if it gets enough votes so we can build it, we build it. Lifetimes will build the number of users the way Divi and Elementor did, and therefore you will get more first-time buyers. Yeah, that's definitely true. Did Elementor do a lifetime license though? I don't recall. I don't think so. We're not doing it. For the scale we want to take this thing, we don't think it makes economic sense. We learned our lesson from Oxygen. How do you plan to retain 30,000 Oxygen customers? What do you mean retain them? They already bought it. It's a lifetime license. We plan to continue getting new customers, but we don't have to do anything to retain the existing customers. We're not going to charge them anything else. Oxygen has as much life as Biden. I can't comment on politics, but haha. What evidence do you have that changing Oxygen to a subscription model wouldn't work for new users? Well, every time we have tried, I shouldn't say every time, we tried once, it cuts sales by like 50%. So, you know, that just kills the business. And then what kind of renewal rate are we going to see, right? We need to wait 2 years for, assuming 100% renewal rate, to get back to the same level of revenue. So the economics just don't make sense. Why not do the same pricing scheme as Oxygen, Chucky? Yeah, same thing. I don't see the value in putting break in the name. Open it up to joke about how it breaks. Yeah, I mean, people call Oxygen carbon monoxide, or maybe it'll be bug-free and it won't break. These WooCommerce features alone are why we want feature parity and Breakdance with Oxygen. Just make Breakdance the V2 product. I want amazing WooCommerce and repeaters. Go suggest it. If there are enough people that want it, it might get built. Or go tell the Bricks guy to build better WooCommerce. Any planned integration with Metabox? Maybe. Advanced custom fields was changed to lifetime deal to subscription. It was. That is a well-loved product used on millions of sites, and it's necessary for a lot of users. And because there are so many builders and other tools that integrate with it, you almost have to buy it. You don't have a choice. If we could force people to buy Oxygen and charge them a subscription price, we would, but people have choice. We're competing with other builders that offered lifetime deals, such as Breezy, such as Bricks, and I'm sure others. Divi has a lifetime deal, and they have a library too. It would have been better to involve the community early on instead of developing in secret for 3 years and having these discussions now. Maybe, maybe not. I think we would have got reamed then too. So Breakdance is better for WooCommerce builds than Oxygen. Yes, I think so. The incentive for Elementor targeted users to use Breakdance is less bloat and better WooCommerce, but non-techie users won't understand why that was necessary. They will go to the tool which has the best rep, which is Elementor. Yeah, I mean, you know, we have years ahead of us to build things, do marketing, etc. Do we plan integration with Metabox? Well, I'm getting that question a lot, so maybe we do. Go upvote this. If it gets upvotes, we'll do it.
People love Metabox because it's got an LTD and ACF doesn't.
Oh, fuck me. Then no, fuck Metabox. We're not doing it. Should one be concerned keeping websites on off? Don't take that too seriously. We might do it. Go vote for it. Should one be concerned? You guys, some of you want the lifetime deals. Then you want to complain about the fallout from a lifetime deal when inevitably it can't last forever. or there's a
How
limited number of new features the developer can build. You can't have the best of all worlds, so you got to pick a camp. Maybe we should build the Metabox integration or Oxygen for the LTD users. Go up with that. I think it's getting close to the top of that list now. Should one be concerned keeping websites on Oxygen for the future? Will it still be stable or going full legacy? No, we're going to continue to update it and maintain it. We're not going to break backwards compatibility. If other plugins release any updates that would break Oxygen, we just release an update to fix it. Yeah, absolutely not. You can keep using Oxygen. We continue to use Oxygen. We use it on WPLimport.com, and we're not going to switch that. Let us vote on the name. Nope, not unless you pay for the domain name. If you want to compete with Divi in the builder, spend some sweet tech money on Designer. We are going to have a good design library eventually. Not yet, though. Elementor has Woolenter and Shop Engine. Elementor power is in the third-party add-ons. You're right. Breakdance certainly does not have the third-party element ecosystem that Elementor does, and it won't for a while. I would like to see a speed test between Breakdance and Elementor. Stay tuned. Why is Oxygen bad at WooCommerce? I hope a third party does that speed test, and I'm sure it will happen eventually. It's probably not going to come from us.
you just opened up a library of content for me, so I appreciate you.
Sweet. Well, I'll be back whenever you want to have me. Why is Oxygen bad at WooCommerce? I wouldn't say it's bad at, well, you know what? Let the people who have complaints about Oxygen tell you the shortcomings of Oxygen with WooCommerce. You can certainly build WooCommerce websites with it. It has WooCommerce elements, but there are people who want more features that it doesn't necessarily have. Any plans for integration with RigMath? Likely. If you take the Oxygen from users, you will break the dance. We're not taking Oxygen from users. We're not changing Oxygen at all. We're going to continue to run it exactly the same way we have. Oxygen is mainly an LTD community. Why do you think Breakdance will survive without an LTD community? Well, it will survive because people who want to pay us money every month, like they do for most WordPress plugins, like Elementor and Divi and advanced custom fields and add-ons for WooCommerce, etc., they get revenue every year that lets them keep developing it. That once you buy a lifetime deal, the point is to use you as reputation and word of mouth to get future customers. But if there's nothing else to sell you, all the revenue is coming from the additional customers. All the features we build are based on what we think people want future customers. Of course, we take your feedback as existing customers into account to decide what to build because you have experience with the product, you know the shortcomings, you know what people want, you know what we'll be able to market. But ultimately, every lifetime deal, all the revenue is from the new customers, not the existing customers. Should rename the builder Dancy Pants. I could probably get that domain name for less than 42 grand, so maybe.
So go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say we're getting a bunch of repeat questions, so I was going to put a call out for people to ask different questions. We're getting a bunch of the things that Louis has already answered earlier in the stream, so you may have to go backward and watch this later.
Why are third-party plugin devs able to easily address common pain points in Oxygen, but it takes forever to address? We get bug reports constantly from people using these third-party add-ons that break something. So anyone can release an add-on. Usually it's nowhere near as robust as what we need to ship and core to every single customer. So that's the short answer. The long answer is if there are 10 or 20 different people making add-ons, that's an ecosystem of 10 or 20 developers. That's 4 times the size of the Breakdance team and 5 to 10 times the size of the Oxygen team at any given time. So you have 10 developers, of course they can build stuff. So can you go to sleep and continue to develop with Oxygen over the next years? Yes, you can. Seeing that Breakdance has an open roadmap, I think having an open roadmap for Oxygen would calm everyone down a little bit. At least it would calm me a little bit. Here's the thing though. I did an AMA before we released Oxygen 4.0, where I said we intended to build an integration between Oxygen and Gutenberg that would have let it go between Oxygen content to Gutenberg and Gutenberg content back into Oxygen. And we tried and we did not succeed. So the moment you promise features, you get yourself into trouble if you aren't 100% sure the architecture can support that feature. For features we know we can build, I'm seeing an ad on the stream.
Let's go.
All right, skip the ad. Um,
I didn't put that there for the record.
um, yeah. Could we do an open roadmap for oxygen? Maybe, but I don't think it makes economic sense when we're selling lifetime licenses. We don't want people to buy oxygen for what it might be in the future. We want people to buy oxygen because it does what they want today. That's the only type of customer we want. I appreciate accessible menus. Will this be a general focus? Yes. So the LTD is what is taking oxygen, but a subscription model isn't feasible. But the Breakdance, the LTD is what, so the LTD is what is tanking oxygen. I wouldn't say tanking, it's what's limiting it. I hate to characterize it as tanking. We improve it with new releases periodically. It is better today than it ever was in the past. You just want it to get better even faster. But yes, the lifetime deal is limiting there. But also, it's not just the lifetime deal, it's the market for oxygen is too small. It's not mainstream enough. If there were twice as many people like you who wanted an advanced filter like oxygen, then we could either do a subscription model or we could have twice as much revenue and we could pay all the bills. But the market just isn't big enough to support that. So, you know, that's the situation we're in. We can only do what the market's willing to pay for. I
Kyle,
thought WPL Import had been sold by Basecape and Plug Corp in Australia in conjunction with Soflyy. What does that mean exactly? That's a partnership between me and someone else who acquired my WordPress plugin WP review engine a long time ago. So it's only 50% me. Breakdance is for mainstream, those who need ease of use, options for power users. If Breakdance is what you recommend for WooCommerce. I wouldn't consider WooCommerce a power user feature at all. I consider WooCommerce online stores an everyday user feature. And a lot of people are using Shopify because of the better ease of use with WooCommerce. However, we'd like to make WooCommerce more awesome with Breakdance and give you, on your front end at least, a more Shopify-like experience. That's why for Breakdance, we rewrote all of the WooCommerce CSS. We scrapped the default style sheet. We made it look modern and amazing and gave you great global styles.
have you spent any time looking into North Commerce, that one that's kind of in beta?
No, whenever I hear about people who are going to change the game with something amazing, I always wait until they change the game with the amazing thing. Someone who thinks they're going to come along and compete with WooCommerce, it's very unlikely. It's like competing with WordPress.
Yeah, totally. I have a question completely unrelated. What is that thing?
What's that thing?
The thing behind your head, the big tower thing sticking out in your window? The huge thing that's like yeah, that huge like walkway looking thing.
All right, I've never taken a selfie with a laptop, but this is San Francisco. That's Sutro Tower in the background. And then downtown is that way. And then the Golden Gate Bridge, you can barely see off in the distance in the marina. Or were you talking about
The thing that it's like a huge, like, I don't know how to describe it, outside. And like to your left, look to your left, and then that thing that's up high, like
Back to the desk. Sorry, I did something in my audio. Are you still there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I unplugged my speaker. Okay, there we go. I didn't hear anything you said in the last.
Yeah, so what I was actually talking about, I appreciate your tour off the balcony. I'm looking forward to sharing a beer with you out there one day. The big like patio thing that's like up in the sky behind you, just directly behind you, like outside your house. It's like the big thing right there.
Oh, right there. That's my neighbor's balcony.
Oh, okay. I thought that was like your coding chambers. You go up there and you turn on the lights and you.
Nah, right. This is the coding chamber right here. I can open the window, get the fresh air, get sun, computers in the shade.
Awesome. Love it.
Do you have any more questions you want to ask me before I keep going through this?
I don't think at the moment. No, I'm appreciating you just keep going.
You want me to keep going? All right, I'll keep going.
I'm going to step away for a second so hopefully things don't blow up while I'm gone.
Don't go for too long. Breakdance is for, okay, yeah, breakdance. Okay, next question. I think there is no harm to change Oxygen for subscription based. We've been over that. We'd love to do it if we can, but we can't. Breakdance loads quite fast. Why can't Oxygen not load as fast? It's built on Angular 1. It's just different technology. It's not as good. As long as you keep Oxygen alive, I'm happy. Not going anywhere. Why can't you use budget for WPL import for Oxygen development as well if you can do that for Breakdance? We could, but at some point you can't just keep losing money, right? It makes no business to sink a significant amount of money into something that never is going to have the market size to turn a profit on that investment. If Oxygen will continue to have major updates, then I won't mind. Well, you won't mind. The price change, I want to wait until Jonathan gets back to talk about that. Louis, are you afraid by the improvements made by Gutenberg, or do you think we will always be one step ahead? I think builders like Elementor, Divi, Breakdance, Oxygen, etc., are always going to be 10 steps ahead of Gutenberg. Every time I try to play around with it, I think if they only made these, 500 changes, then it would be good. And then they make some changes, but then it's 500 more. Let me scroll back up. Webflow's market is huge. The main draw of Webflow is the builder. It's bizarre to keep saying there aren't enough people that like Oxygen when Webflow and Oxygen are very similar. Well, go to Webflow's website and note that it has its own CMS. It's not WordPress. The target market is enterprise. It's typically not people building websites for clients. At least that's not a big chunk of their revenue as far as I know. Webflow is advertising on a billboard in San Francisco. And can you imagine a visual builder like Oxygen, or Divi advertising on a billboard in San Francisco? It's totally different markets, right? People look at Webflow, they want that Webflow-like experience, but then they want to build websites for clients using an open source CMS like WordPress. Webflow is basically, an enterprise tool. If we use only Breakdance, are we sure to be safe without breaking our site like Oxygen does every once in a while? I hope not, but no software is entirely bug-free. We'll do our best to maintain backwards compatibility with, everything, just as we have for Oxygen, but it's impossible to be perfect. Johnny Cake says doxed. I know, I live in Potrero Hill in San Francisco, so come knock on my door, and it's you can't have guns in San Francisco, I don't think, so you can do whatever you want. I'll have to run on my balcony. I think Kevin G has a point. It took me years to find Oxygen, only came across it by accident. The marketing could really be improved. Here's the thing though, with marketing for Oxygen. The targeting options available for marketing don't allow you to really find super advanced. We'll get another ad. Is my audio still coming through during the ad?
I believe people catch up to it. Yeah, I still hear you.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
It is buffering on my my stream preview here, but I don't think that's actually the case.
Okay. The thing with marketing for a niche product, well, imagine Facebook ads, for example. You could target the WordPress interest and tell everybody that uses WordPress about your product. But for Oxygen, that's not going to be profitable because most people that use WordPress don't want Oxygen. They couldn't use Oxygen. For Breakdance, it probably makes sense to market more heavily. For Oxygen, it is an advanced product, and the advanced users do eventually find out about it. Where we got past the doxing. Instead of accepting his inability to properly market the product, he's blaming market size. Well, what marketing ideas do you have for us that you think would be more effective, right? The affiliate program doesn't work because with a lifetime deal, it's not profitable. We do some Facebook ads, but it's limited in what we can do because the market size isn't huge. I think you're overestimating the number of people that are actually capable of building websites using an advanced tool like Webflow or Oxygen. And there are a lot of people that may be capable of that, but they don't do contract work for clients, right? Developers at, a lot of the big companies in San Francisco, HTML and CSS, senior level front-end developers are making $200,000 a year. Sure, they could use Oxygen, but why are they going to go build websites for clients when they'd rather have a cushy job at, a big tech company and, get their free ping pong tables and brownies and everything. Any news about Oxygen to be revealed in preview? Nope. If we use Breakdance, okay, I already answered these. Here we go. Kevin and Jonathan have done more for marketing Oxygen than Oxygen has by a mile. Probably not, if you actually look at the way we've marketed and our ad spend and where we've advertised. Well, Kevin, okay, here we go. Let's have a live chat here. Kevin says, never mind, I don't have any marketing ideas. I'm not good at selling things. Well, what do you specifically think we should do to market Oxygen? Because believe me, if we're going to continue selling Oxygen. If you have good marketing for us, we'll do it. Any way we can profitably make sales of Oxygen, we'll continue to do so. We're always looking for better ways to do everything. All right, I'll give Kevin a little bit of time. Does anybody else have any questions?
Elijah messaged me and said stream dropped. So hopefully that's actually not true.
Let's try. I still on. I see me on your YouTube, so I don't think it dropped.
I think it's coming back because everybody's saying it dropped, but it's coming back. All Kevin, good. Yeah, everybody says it's fine.
Supposed to provide free consulting. Well, yes. I mean, if you're going to come in here and tell us that we're not capable of marketing the product and you have better ideas, but then you won't tell us because it counts as free consulting, I mean, we just have to assume that you don't have better ideas. So his new Oxygen sales almost certainly plummet after the Breakdance announcement. Well, unlikely, because Oxygen continues to do what it always does, and Breakdance isn't a replacement for it. I'll be doing a video later today where I go over some of the key differences between the two products.
Kevin, do you want to hop in the stream? See, you can keep going. Figured I'd toss it out.
Are the lifetime Oxygen users going to have a one-time lifetime deal to get Breakdance? Absolutely not. Sridhar wants to know, is there an affiliate program? Yes, there is, because it makes, Sridhar, you didn't show up for the beginning of this, so rewatch the beginning, but it doesn't make economic sense to have an affiliate program that pays 50% commissions when you're selling a lifetime license, right? Because for a $99 product, you're paying a $50 commission, and then, you know, your other $50, you know, $5 goes to payment fees, $3 go to refunds, support, development, you're out of money at that point. With an annual subscription, you can pay a big commission on that per sale, like 50%, and make your money on the second year. So it makes sense. Diane Laidlaw says, I think what you're doing is fine. Hi, Diane. I remember you from a long time ago when you first started using Oxygen. We were, I think, at 1.0. The problem is the market saturated with Elementor type designers and developers. They're going to love Breakdance. Eduardo posted some marketing ideas. You can build an add-on with major features. We can't build an add-on and charge people for it. We promise lifetime updates. How would you like it if we look what's happening to us with Breakdance right now as far as PR? It seems to have gotten a lot better now that I've done this stream. So I'll probably do another one of these tomorrow with the haircut in the main group. You can make ads on Google. We've done this. We do this. It's not significantly profitable because people typing in website builder for WordPress, most of them don't have the technical capabilities to use a tool like Oxygen. They do have the capabilities to use a tool like Breakdance or Elementor though. So those products can easily be marketed in that way. But what we really can market for on Google is like Webflow for WordPress. But if you search Webflow for WordPress, I think you're going to find us for free eventually anyway. I should check that. I haven't looked at our SEO in a while, but it certainly used to be the case. You can make a referral system and pay commissions. Not with a lifetime deal, we can't. You can make offline marketing for dev. Yeah, I don't, what am I going to do? Just go to every city in the world and put Oxygen stickers on all the telephone poles? That's tough. The offline marketing is very tough. It doesn't scale. You can go to a WordPress meetup and there are 30 people there, but I mean, you got to be selling 30 licenses every single day to even have a chance. Jay says he's slick. Well, that's because it's easy when you have good answers to all the questions. Ask me a hard question though. I'd like to get some harder questions, or maybe I've addressed most of the concern and people don't hate us anymore. I'm not sure.
What I'd really like to do is schedule a bit of a three-way with me, you, and Kevin. So do you know who Kevin is?
No.
Okay, so Kevin runs a channel called Digital Ambition. He does a lot of Oxygen content, and he is a really key player. He's like, our channels are very similarly sized, so I'd say him and I have done quite a bit to promote Oxygen. I think he would probably have a lot more direct and hard questions that would be easier for him to convey in person. So I would love for us three to hop on together. So maybe
absolutely. Let's do it.
He said he's not available today, but maybe if we can do something like Friday or even, over the weekend or something.
Kevin, thank you for making videos for Oxygen. This helps us promote. I'm looking at your website right now with the videos. How to create cards in Oxygen properly, updated and accessible. It looks like the videos are professionally produced. But a lot of the people that are watching your videos are there because we market Oxygen. They buy Oxygen.
I don't know though. I'd argue actually otherwise, because people are looking for some solution that is less restrictive, and they go out seeking just like they run into these hurdles. They're like, how do I move my social icons from the top right to the top left? And then they're like, wait a second, okay, so there's this thing called Oxygen, and then they Google Oxygen tutorials and they find the Oxygen channel, they find me, and they find Kevin, they find a few others as well. But I have a whole agency side to my business, and it's people that say, oh, I discovered you on YouTube, and we realized that you're an Oxygen expert. And then it's like this thing where there's like this constant ebb and flow of YouTube, where like they either find a tutorial specifically after what they want, and then they realize, holy shit, there's Oxygen. And then, or the other way around, they come across the Oxygen channel because they have some specific need. So I think there's many of us that have been able to build entire businesses off of just YouTube and promoting Oxygen.
That's great. But if they come to your business because they found Oxygen first, you're not referring sales to us. When they're finding Oxygen because they were looking at your content for other reasons, and then you mentioned Oxygen, that's awesome. If there was a way we could incentivize more of that, we certainly would, but we don't have an affiliate program and we can't do the economics of it. We have done a number of paid reviews on various channels. We've regularly reached out to do sponsor reviews. We know how many sales those bring, and if you've been approached by us to do a sponsored review and you know the price we offer to do it, it's not high, and that's because it just doesn't bring a huge number of sales. Really, the bread and butter is Facebook ads, one, word of mouth from the whole existing community is number two, and our own YouTube videos. How can we have awesome WooCommerce and repeater functionality? I don't know. I don't think it exists yet, right? You have bricks for repeater, but not the WooCommerce stuff. You go to Breakdance for the WooCommerce, but not the repeater. You go to Oxygen for repeater, but not the WooCommerce. It's 2022, give us a chance. In 2023, we might have the best of all worlds. When did I last get a haircut? Probably before ski season. Probably in, I don't know, September of last year. It's probably been about a year. I found Oxygen to be a great value. No tech lasts forever. I look forward to take Breakdance for a spin. Well, thank you for the kind words. Let me scroll up more.
I'm looking for some good ones here.
Yeah. If there is no refund for Oxygen users, then marketing Oxygen to low-hanging fruit Divi users bring in the dollars. We do market Oxygen to Divi users occasionally. I have my famous FU Divi video, which continues to get viewed and brings in sales, but most Divi users aren't capable of using Oxygen. Jay says Kevin's videos are really good. Good. Well, I'm going to go watch some of those videos. Kevin, thank you for making awesome videos about Oxygen. I hope you make good money doing that somehow. What does Kevin have? Does Kevin have any add-ons available or course or anything like that?
Yeah, he created a CSS framework called automatic.css, and that's done extremely well.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Kevin, I would love some text-based ideas on how you think we should market. I'm working with 30 million businesses and other small businesses with 1 million revenue. 30 million revenue businesses. We make a lot of major. We can't discuss all in the chat. All right. Louis is definitely disconnected from the Oxygen ecosystem. He just proved that. I would agree. I leave it with Elijah. He knows about all of it. I have very little to do with the day-to-day operations of Oxygen at this point. I have spent basically the entirety of the last 3 years working on Breakdance. Wajtek, I'm sorry for bitching your name. It says, dude, you have no idea about marketing. Enlighten me in the chat. Give me some ideas. There have been a lot of comments saying we don't know what we're doing with marketing and we should do X, Y, and Z. Tell me specifically what we should do. I am all ears. TikTok, keep the beard. Here, Aaron says, the FU Divi video, what brought me to purchase Oxygen. Can't believe the way you just blew off Jonathan's impact on promoting your product. We have Google Analytics. We know exactly where we're getting sales. I love that there's an ecosystem around Oxygen, but far less than 10% of our sales are coming from this YouTube stuff. And that's factoring in the fact that all the referrals aren't necessarily tracked and people hear about it and search for it. We have source medium in a lot of our campaigns. We know when someone clicks an ad that we paid for, finds Oxygen, and actually buys it. We know the numbers on that, and it's the vast majority of purchases for Oxygen are either from the paid ads or other word of mouth based sources we can actually track. Jason Mallory, PS, let me scroll up to where I wasn't getting slammed in the comments. I think I'm getting slammed pretty good right here, but I'm scrolling down, so slam me a little more. We'll get to it. Why not rebuild with a new tech, but then charge again, like Adobe used to do? I know it says lifetime deal, but it says old legacy tech. Well, Breakdance is rebuilt with new tech, and we are only giving away 1 year free. After that, we are charging again. We still have a commitment to Oxygen, so we have to keep, we have to keep maintaining that, and that's going to continue to be free. For agency owners like me, are there plans for unlimited sites? Yes, unlimited sites. There we go, everyone. Too late now, but being transparent about Breakdance 3 years ago might have been a great start to building trust. At this point, I don't think any marketing would help. Well, maybe Kevin can fix that for us tomorrow. We'll find out. Well, this should be Jonathan's last Oxygen video. I hope not. Gavin, good night. Thanks to both of you for the stream. Yeah, thank you for showing up. Kevin says, I do hope we can put together a roundtable soon. Absolutely.
I think what we should do is probably pause and then pick this back up on Friday, because I really do think Kevin has a lot to offer. He's pretty much the only other person. He's the closest to me in terms of subscriber base, and probably a bigger audience because he has the product as well. So I'd love to have him come on stream and kind of talk about all of this stuff. I think it'll give us a little bit of time to explore the tool a bit, see what else there is with it, and then come up with a fresh set of questions. Because there's a lot still for me I'd like to kind of process and, feel out in terms of how this is going to impact Oxygen and the viability of my business, if I'm speaking candidly, and those sorts of things. So I appreciate you coming on. I hope everybody else did too.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. This was super fun. I hope I was able to answer a lot of people's questions. But yeah, okay, let's do another one soon. We'll talk about it via email. I'm probably out of commission for a good chance, a good portion of tomorrow, but I can make something late in the evening work tomorrow for sure. Available all day on Friday.
Yeah, Friday would be great. So let's plan something tentatively for that, and we can touch base with Kevin.
Sweet. Okay, thanks everyone for watching. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Drop a like on the stream before you go.